What's going on? We made it back. We got a fun one today. Catch up on some news. Ooh, Karoline. Leavitt did a press briefing, I believe today. So we're gonna catch up on that. Then Jubilee. One black radical versus 20 black conservatives. I've seen it on my feed. Different people. It's blowing up the internet, right? Anyway, we're gonna check that out as well. And then other things. If you must know, pork chops, mac and cheese, mashed potatoes. Over here sleeping in the black hole, guys. Comfy in the black hole. Hey. All right. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Axe, how you doing? Welcome. Welcome. Europe? Man, we were covering Europe like last week. We'll see if we can get over to the UK. Since that's what coverage I did last week. What's going on? Welcome. We're getting settled in. All right. Hold up. Some a little bit more chill. Hope y'all are having a good day. I am. CRXR in the building. Good to see it. Wait, Gabe Hom? Nah, what are you talking about? The Rugman pulleth. Listen, guys, I'm working on my own shitcoin, and I promise it's not a rug pull. Updates are coming later, don't worry. All right, might as well. Well, I meant to actually just hop in, but instead I ended up turning all my music off. Guys, this is tragedy. Tragedy has struck. What is it? Control-Alt-T brings back your tabs? Well, it's not working. What the hell? It's okay, guys. We're here. The music, we were done with the music. We'll come back to the music. Always doing a little too much over here. All right. There we go. Straight rug pull. No, guys, we're going to the moon, okay? We're going to have a very well thought out liquidity pull. I promise. No rug pulls here. But if you're one of the first ones to buy on, you could join the exclusive Discord group where I tell you when to sell. Where we decide the top. All right, what the hell? I thought I already had this ready. What is wrong with me?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hold up, we got a soundboard.
How are you? Good to see all of you.
There we go.
What we've witnessed President Trump accomplish over the last few days has been nothing short of remarkable. We are now 3.5 years into the war between Russia and Ukraine.
Hold up, where's chat?
A brutal conflict that has claimed hundreds of
Boom.
thousands of Russian and Ukrainian lives and cost trillions of dollars. The weakness and incompetence of Joe Biden foolishly allowed the killing to start in the first place. Until President Trump returned to office in January, the bloody and broken Biden status quo was to endlessly force American taxpayers to fund Ukraine no matter the cost, no matter how long it takes, and no matter how many lives were lost. There is no denying that Biden's America Last...
To be clear, was not to what she was saying, because that was a terrible time to do that. I just like getting everything nice and set up.
Foreign policy moved the world further away from peace. President Trump rejected that failed approach, and instead, over the last 7 months, has relentlessly pursued peace throughout his second term. And thanks to President Trump's efforts, we finally have movement after years of deadly gridlock. On Friday, as you all know, many of you were there, President Trump hosted Russian President Vladimir Putin in Anchorage, Alaska, for a bilateral meeting. This was the first time President Putin has been to the United States since 2015, and the first time he has met with an American president in years.
Yo, grill tep smoker. You know what? That's what we're gonna do right now, actually. Let me get this poll in chat. Let's see where we're at with Epstein right now. What should the poll be? Here, I got you. Release the files. Yes. Right now. Or no. Or no, sorry. What files? All right, guys. Poll in the chat. Bam.
President Putin publicly confirmed what President Trump
Release the Kraken.
said all along. The war between Russia and Ukraine
Pirates of the Caribbean 2. 1 is a classic. 2 was amazing, though, as well. After that, it's kind of like...
never would have started in the first place if President Trump were in office. This was always obvious to any person with a shred of common sense. Just look at what took place during the last 4 administrations. Under George W. Bush, Russia invaded Georgia. Under Barack Obama...
Everybody, guys. Left, right, center, polka dotted, striped. I don't care. If you guys were... Not you guys. You know who I'm talking about. If they, okay, were messing around, trafficking, not okay. Kids, even more not okay. Even more not okay. It's like, I didn't even know it could get worse, but it could get worse. Yeah, they all need to be put away. Put away for a long time.
Russia took Crimea. Under Joe Biden, Russia invaded Ukraine. But under President Trump, Russia did not invade nor take anything. President Trump is the only president this century, Republican or Democrat, who has held Russia in check and ensured peace in Europe. That's because Russia has always greatly respected President Trump and his peace through strength foreign policy approach. But overall, the bilateral talks in Alaska were very productive, and multiple points were agreed to between the two leaders that truly opened up the door for Phase 2 discussions that took place yesterday here at the White House, within 48 hours of that meeting in Anchorage, I may add. As you all know, there were many European leaders here, as well as Ukrainian President Zelensky. They all traveled here to meet with President Trump to maintain the momentum and work toward a lasting peace. Across the board, every leader credited President Trump for his decisive leadership.
Oh yeah, good day so far, guys. Good day so far. We're gonna catch up on the news here. This is her press briefing from today. I think an hour or two ago. I'm just late.
In hopes of finally bringing this war.
And somehow we're gonna get into even more spicier stuff after this.
To a peaceful conclusion. Two quotes in particular capture the progress that was made and the optimism moving forward. Finnish President Alexander.
I hope you're having a good day as well.
In the past 2 weeks, we've probably had more progress in ending this war than we have had in the past 3.5 years. Again, that is the president of Finland, a country that shares a border with Russia. That's what we call the President Trump effect. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte also summed it up well. Without President Trump, this deadlock with Putin would not have been broken. He is the only one who could do this. Following the encouraging conversations yesterday, President Trump spoke with President Putin by phone, and he agreed to begin the next phase of the peace process, a meeting between President Putin and President Zelensky, which would be followed, if necessary, by a trilateral meeting between President Putin, President Zelensky, and President Trump. As the president said,
That'd be interesting if we get Putin and Zelensky in the same room. I mean, throw Trump in there as well, but I mean, just Putin and Zelensky being in the same room would be an improvement, right? Or at least steps towards something, I imagine.
Advanced Secretary Rubio.
What's going on?
Witkoff will continue to coordinate with Russia.
I'm going to call you Destin.
To make this happen as soon as possible. It's very important to remember that before President Trump's landslide victory last November, there was no end in sight to this bloodshed. Now, there may finally be light at the end of the tunnel and an opportunity for lasting peace. That's because President Trump is the peace president, and American leadership is back.
Wait a second, why didn't it appear on the screen? I'm so confused, guys. Where's the messages on the screen?
The world stage. It should not be lost on anyone in this room that world leaders are coming right here to Washington, D.C. for help.
Let's be honest, if you're the press secretary for the president, that is kind of your job. Jess.
While previous presidents have traveled halfway around the world to apologize for America, President Trump stands up for America, and he has firmly restored America's status as the undisputed leader of the free world. However, one thing that has absolutely not changed is the media's negative and downright...
Is that a question or a statement? Condom. Yo, I'm going to call you Condom. Actually, that goes so well with your question. Condom. Is that a question or is that a statement? I'm with your name, I'm starting to think it was a statement.
False coverage of President Trump and his foreign policy accomplishments. From the beginning of this entire process, much of the left-wing media...
Statement and desire.
...actively rooting against the President of the United States in the pursuit of peace. Initially, the media ridiculously claimed that President Trump was somehow beholden to Russia for even agreeing to have a face-to-face discussion with...
We gotta have some class here. I am curious if I were to run a poll on that, what we would see, but we have to have some sort of decorum, okay?
With President Putin inside of the United States. The media said President Trump was making a grave...
Buzzed, what's going on?
...legitimizing Putin. They were aghast that President Trump would treat another world leader like a world leader. The media relentlessly attacked President Trump and claimed he suffered a, quote, major defeat for not immediately emerging with a final agreement, even though he said heading into that meeting, this was a meeting to listen and to understand how to move the ball forward. All weekend following those historic U.S.-Russia bilateral talks, we listened to clueless pundits on television trying but failing to claim that the president had failed. The so-called experts in the foreign policy establishment, whose record is nothing but endless wars, trillions of wasted taxpayer dollars, and dead Americans, have the nerve to try and lecture President Trump, who has solved 7 global conflicts in 7.
Rev, where you from? You say you crazy people talking about America. Where you from? Where you from? Are you one of our brothers in Canada? Our brothers south of the border? Or are you across the pond? I'm curious. You said yep. Yep, what? So you're Canadian. There's a 5% chance you're Canadian. I knew it. I somehow could just tell. Man, we have a few Canadians in here. One of them's a mod, I believe. And I like messing with them. You guys aren't going nowhere, okay? We share one of the largest borders in the world. You guys, we're like cousins. We're like family, okay? We get into spats with each other, but like, come on, we're still family. We're still here together, guys.
Months about peace. This is the same president, by the way, who brokered the Abraham Accords in his first term, on top of more than half a dozen other peace deals this year alone, as I just said. We also saw yesterday the president of Ukraine and all of the other major leaders of Europe fly across the Atlantic Ocean to meet President Trump at the White House because of the progress that was.
I hear you, Buzz. I do like her, I guess her acumen, you know, the way that she goes about it. She does slip up occasionally. But she's really good at her job, I have to say. To throw KJP just some credit, you kind of saw what she was working with, right? Because we're talking about the last press secretary for Joe Biden, right? I mean, your job as press secretary is to spin shit, to make shit look good. You kind of got to be given something to work with.
Made, and that, if you ask the media, failed meeting, but it was not. It was highly productive and it was successful. This is why Americans' trust in the mass media is at a lowest point in more than 5 decades. Diplomacy is a delicate process.
See, and Rev, this is why stereotypes are very dangerous, because if you believe them, you're going to be led astray. You're saying that you don't understand because you're American, and the one thing about America is you guys are arrogant. So that sounds like a stereotype. I was believing the stereotype that Canadians are polite and nice and, like, you know, easygoing and, you know, empathetic and all this stuff, but you are proving that stereotype wrong. So we both need to be careful about our stereotypes, right? Maybe I'm not arrogant. It's possible. And maybe you're not very nice. That's possible. But I don't like to jump to conclusions, you know? I have a feeling you're pretty cool.
And instead of reporting the facts about what is happening here at this White
Well,
House,
I don't know. Now I'm starting to lean the other way. I don't know.
many outlets in this room continue to try to actively undermine the president and sabotage the efforts towards peace. That is why I felt that—
Ben, you said you've been out of work for a month. If I may ask, what do you do? Or like out of what type of work? Do you have like something you do that you can't do now? Out of curiosity. Lots of job growth instead of jobs being lost like now. That's what I've seen, right? Have we been losing jobs in the last like 2 or 3 months? It's either we're losing jobs or they're not growing as fast as projected.
Set the record straight. In other news, on the home front, President Trump's efforts to make D.C. safe—
New construction is down the tubes. Interesting. Huh. Is that like a state thing, or do you think that's more, you know, because of things that Trump put into place? I'm curious. Also, we're on the East Coast here. You don't have to say where you're from, but I'm curious if it's East Coast, West Coast, like where. But basically, if there's no new construction, then yeah, that's tough. Do you do like trade work, like for yourself? Like remodeling and things along that nature? Or are you talking about like you're talking about new builds, right? Where are you at? Dude, Nathan, you're killing me. On a scale of 1 to super gay, where do you put yourself? Fuck. Yo, that's a good question, guys. I'm gonna have to think about that. Give me a sec. Construction. Oh yeah, new construction. Okay, yeah. Midwest companies don't want to put down the capital for a big new job. Interesting. Do you think all the deals that they're making with the tech companies to come and put data centers in, along with like ancillary things, you think that'll help? I mean, obviously it's only in a handful of states, but softwood lumber tariffs might have something to do with that. Would that be tariffs on Canada? Steel tariffs. Give a year and see what happens when companies start moving back here for the tax benefits and to not pay tariffs. That's what I'm interested in, is like the long-term effect, like a year or two of essentially strong-arming the companies back into the country. But then some people, but you got Rev here saying that Americans pay the tariffs. On the flip side of that, some people will say, even if the companies come over here, you're going to have to pay more because labor here is more expensive. The products will cost more because the labor costs more. See, okay, CRXR says construction has exploded in Florida. They're bringing people all the way from New York to build the condos down here. Interesting. So you're in the Midwest, though, Ben. So yeah, I guess there's just not a lot of new development there. I think I'm technically from the Midwest, from Ohio originally. I think that still counts as Midwest, right? Yeah.
Working. There have been a total of 465 arrests since the start of this operation on Thursday, August 7th. Last night, there were a total of 52 arrests, including the arrest of an illegal alien MS-13 gang member with convictions for DWI and drug possession. Thanks to President Trump's leadership and the outstanding...
Ben said building the stuff the hurricanes destroyed. Hey, that's a good strategy. If you're a construction worker, you work in the trades, move to a place that regularly gets destroyed by natural disaster, and you probably won't have to worry about work.
And local law enforcement, dangerous gang members like the one picked up last night will not be allowed on the streets of our nation's capital.
Yo, you said ICE got your dad. What do you do? I mean, just keep doing what you're doing. I guess maybe, I don't know how old you are. Keep going to school, you know, stay in contact, try to help them with their paperwork and whatnot to kind of like get back here, you know, through the proper channels and whatnot. Visit them wherever, I don't know where your father's from, right? But you could, you know, visit that country and, you know, be able to hang out there. Maybe they could come back and visit. I'm not really sure the stipulations once ICE gets somebody. I have a feeling if ICE deports you, you're not allowed to come back for a certain amount of time. But I don't know, that would be like I think my suggestions. I mean, I don't know. I haven't dealt with that in particular problem. So I might not be the best for giving advice on that.
Other arrests last night included assault with a deadly weapon for stabbing, parole violation for robbery, murder, outstanding warrant for attempted murder, assault on federal law enforcement officer, and felony assault. 4 more homeless encampments were also removed during yesterday's reporting period. To date, a total of 48 homeless encampments have been cleared in Washington, D.C. by multi-agency teams. MPD patrol units are actively working with city officials to locate and clear additional encampments and remove homeless residents off of Washington's streets. And despite fake narratives from the media again...
You said they haven't let him go, he's just incarcerated. Incarcerated for like a crime or just incarcerated for legal status? That's the question. Like, what is his legal status? Because if his legal status is he's a citizen, well, then I would ask, did he commit a crime? And if he committed a crime, I'd ask what crime he committed. If his legal status, I mean, he's not a citizen, then I imagine they would be deported, right? Eventually. That's, I assume, right? But I don't know.
A significant number of the arrests have been in high crime...
Why are Americans okay? I don't think Americans are okay with a king.
Areas of D.C. In fact, nearly half of all of the non-illegal alien...
So I could go to Puerto Rico and earn much less because of... Well, yeah, but I mean, right? Hey, what's going on, Blue Ocean? He said, I'd rather have a king than the most corrupt Democrat administration ever. I understand what you're saying. However, the issue with kings is there's nobody to check their power. So even if there's a person we really dislike and somebody we really like, we still don't want to make the person we really like a king. Because one day they won't be the king. And the person you don't like will be the king. And nobody will be there to check their power. So, no kings. Unless y'all want to nominate me.
Arrest.
In that case, my viewpoint might change. No, I'm just kidding.
In wards 7 and 8, the 2 wards that have the highest number of violent crimes.
My issue is ceding power to sort of like a centralized authority, like the government, because you could give them power, and if as long as your people are in power, people that believe the same things you believe, then of course you're going to be happy. But once the other people get in power, people that might not see eye to eye with you, and they're just making changes that you go against your beliefs. Now all of a sudden you have an issue, but you don't have anywhere, you know, to like voice that that issue where you have no way to vote them out or, change things.
Homicides and assaults with dangerous weapons last year. So while Democrats continue to coddle violent criminals, President Trump and this administration are focused on putting them behind
bars
and
Welcome back.
unapologetically standing up for the safety of law-abiding American citizens. And the White House will continue to provide all of you with the results of this operation in the days ahead. So with that, I will take your questions today. Here in our new media seat today, we have Jack Posobiec, who joined us in Anchorage, Alaska last week. Jack, thanks for being here. Why don't you kick us off?
Karoline, thanks so much. So a couple of questions regarding the status of these peace talks. Obviously, we saw the President and President Putin there in Anchorage. We saw the world leaders here yesterday with this summit. We've heard phrases like coalition of the willing. We've also heard Article 5-like guarantees. When it comes to the security guarantees, what is the current status of that? I know the President earlier today mentioned boots on the ground would be UK, France, Germany possibly, but unequivocally said no U.S. troops on the ground, but U.S. coordination. Can you elaborate on that?
Kind of makes sense, right?
And what would the red lines be?
Sure. Well, you got to the heart of what I was going to say to all of you today on security guarantees.
Oh, thanks for reminding me. Release the files in the poll. It's still very early in the poll here. But yes, right now, to release the files, 88% of y'all. Okay. What files? 12%. Generally, this poll goes about 80-20. It started out about 85-15. Over the course of the last week or two, it's become about an 80-20 issue. I'm curious to see if by the end of this stream, it's like a 75-25 issue.
Which is the president has definitively stated U.S.
Once we get like 1,000 votes, it's a pretty decent amount.
Will not be on the ground in Ukraine, but we can certainly help in the coordination and perhaps provide other means of security guarantees to our European allies. The president understands security guarantees are crucially important to ensure a lasting peace, and he has directed his national security team to coordinate with our friends in Europe and also to continue to cooperate and discuss these matters with Ukraine and Russia as well.
Karoline, now have the Russian...
Don't get me started, Jared. It's really hard to say that the files implicate one side when at this point both sides have been in possession of the files. This would lead me to believe that both sides are implicated in the files. Or powers that are above both sides, pulling the strings.
I know we spoke with President Putin last night. What has been their response? Because we've heard some reports from the Kremlin and others saying they're unequivocally against NATO troops on the ground.
Well, look, the president continues to have these conversations.
What's going on, 14K?
Both leaders. Those conversations
14 karat gold.
Took place in Anchorage, Alaska, again yesterday with the Europeans and President Zelensky, and he has directed his team to come up with a framework for these security guarantees that can be acceptable to help ensure a lasting peace and end this war.
And then just last question real quick on this. Regarding some of the funding, we're hearing questions about another round of weapon sales or possibly a round of U.S. purchases of Ukrainian drones. Will that money be funded by the U.S. taxpayer?
Is that right, CRXR?
Going to see an end to the U.S. taxpayer funded.
What's going on, not Cal? Caliby. Not Cal. NorCal. There we go. Oh, wait. North California Aggie. I don't know what that last part means.
Seemingly endless mandate for these foreign wars.
Well, the president is very sensitive to the needs of the American taxpayer, and immediately upon entering office back in January, he made it very clear that we're not going to continue writing blank checks to fund a war very far away, which is why he came up with the very creative solution to have NATO purchase American weaponry because it is the best in the world, and then to backfill the needs of the Ukrainian army.
See, Pops gets it. It's pretty simple. Just release the files. Put the files in the bag. Put the fries in the bag. Put the files in the bag, hand the bag out the window. It's really simple.
And the Ukrainian people and their military. So that's the solution the president has came up with. We'll continue to see that forward. As for any additional sales, I'll have to defer you to the Department of Defense. Thanks, Jack. Kelly.
What has President Trump learned that tells him that Vladimir Putin would be willing to make a deal for him, for President Trump?
Well, the president has learned a lot, which is part of the reason he opened up this dialogue. The previous administration, who oversaw the beginning of this war, refused to talk. And President Trump has always said, in order to learn, in order to move the ball forward with diplomacy and towards peace, you have to have open dialogue.
What's going on?
So that's why the president has had
Pacers. Pacers stink. What's going on?
Several conversations by phone and, of course, an in-person meeting.
See, these things are disconnected issues. like the file situation and like everything else that Trump does, these are separate situations. Each thing is its own problem. We could talk about every single other subject, but that doesn't get rid of the elephant in the room of the Epstein files. Like, we still need to acknowledge this and hopefully keep bringing, light to it until somebody does something about it. But this isn't to take away from every other thing that he's done or hasn't done or what have you, right?
Last Friday with President Putin, he also has talked to...
No, exactly. Who should be locked up? It's just crazy that they talked about thousands of victims, the elites, all this stuff. You had Kash Patel talk about the FBI has the list. You have, what's her face? Pam Bondi, talking about the files being on her desk. And then everybody, 5 minutes later, turns around and pretends like this is, like it's a conspiracy. Like Kash Patel literally says the conspiracy theories aren't true. Bro, you were the one pushing the shit. Like, oh my God. It just frustrates me because it's just like within 3 to 6 months, the story is just 180. And I don't care if you're right. I don't care if you're left. I don't care if you're center. You told me a story here. You're telling me a different story now. If something has changed and you discovered something, then explain that. Explain why you are changing your stance on it now. That's all I gotta say.
President Zelensky dozens of times had him here at the White House yesterday.
Hey, I love the alien stuff. Let's go.
What both sides are going to have to give up, and he has always
UAP. Hey, guys, why are we bringing up UAPs? Is there some new news I need to know about? Because I love UAPs, love the subject, real deep place in my heart. However, the administration just started coming out talking about UAPs like in the last week, just coincidentally during all of this Epstein stuff. The head of Arrow went on Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson to talk to him. JD Vance, I think, mentioned UAPs and trying to uncover the truth of what's going on. All of a sudden, I'm seeing this move from the government to start talking about this thing that has been swept under the rug for decades at the same time with the Epstein stuff. Another thing, the Russiagate situation that they dropped last month or whatever, just so happens around the Epstein time. There's just too many things that are coincidentally happening at the same time. It could be coincidence. It could just be. But I'm feeling like there's some sort of strategy to it.
In order to get a good deal, both sides are going to have to walk away a little bit unhappy.
Oh, I had like a whole UAP stream for the other night, but I fell asleep. But I actually, we're going to go through the hearings. We're going to go through Arrow and what they've putting out and everything. It's probably a late night. It's going to be called Declassified Hangout. So if you see Declassified, we're basically talking about UAPs and just fringe, paranormal, like whatever shit. So if you guys are into those subjects, I highly recommend watching the Y Files on YouTube. It's a channel on YouTube. They have great production and just the videos are just really good, really, really good. And I suggest them, the Y Files.
Continues to learn a lot throughout these conversations, which is why we've seen progress from both sides. And I would also just add, when it comes to learning and moving the ball forward, look at how both Russia...
Good. Yo, oh my gosh. I always do this. I always get off the topic. Yo, chronology. I don't know. You said you're obsessed with UAPs. People think you're crazy. Same here. I've learned... If you want to talk to people about it, you dip your toes in and you see how they react and stuff. And if they're with you 100%, okay, cool. But like if I keep talking and talking about it, I could just see their eyes glaze over and they're like, dude, this guy is insane.
Actually talked directly for the first time in many years, thanks to the efforts of this president and this administration.
Specifically for President Trump, though.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look up bricks and get into that. There's always the New World Order, right? You'll own nothing and be happy, all of that good jazz. Guys, here, just for future reference, boom, there's my Discord. It should pop up soon. Nightbot. Do your job. Thank you, Nightbot. Join the Discord. You can drop links, videos for us to watch, and things of that nature, and continue the conversation.
What do you think Putin's motivation is to try...
Because you shouldn't be able to drop links in the chat. I don't think it'll let you.
...do something for President Trump, as opposed to just resolving the conflict?
I think, as I just spoke to in my opening remarks, Kelly, Russia and all countries around this world actually respect the United States again. And the president is using the might of American strength to demand that respect from our allies, our friends, our adversaries all around the world. And we've seen that not just lead to progress with Russia and Ukraine, but also we've seen it in the closing of 7 global conflicts around the world as well. We've seen it with the release of hostages in Gaza. You've seen it with the end of the conflict between India and Pakistan, which could have resulted in a nuclear war if we had not had a president who believed in the strength and the leverage that comes with the job of being the president of the United States of America. Rachel.
Thanks, Karoline. Heading into Alaska, a lot of the focus in the talk was on this trilateral meeting between these 3 leaders. Can you explain how this went from a trilateral meeting involving President Trump to now the focus being on this bilateral meeting without the president first?
Well, look, the president has spoken to both leaders about this, and both leaders have expressed a willingness to sit down with each other. And so our national security team will help both countries do that. Ultimately, the president has always said that there are areas of disagreement in this war that will have to be discussed and decided upon by these 2 countries. And so he wants these 2 countries to engage in direct diplomacy. He's said that from the very beginning, which is why he's agreeable to the idea of having President Zelensky and President Putin get together. And I understand accommodations for that meeting are underway. As soon as we hear more details, we'll be sure to let all of you know.
And just a quick follow-up. We know as of right now there is no ceasefire in place. We've seen Russia continue its attacks on Ukraine. What indications is the president getting from Putin that he wants to have this meeting with Zelensky soon?
Because he spoke to him directly yesterday.
And he expressed that
Haley,
sooner rather than later.
He spoke to that directly yesterday, and the president put that in his statement that he gave to all of you, the news media, knowing you'd be asking following that conversation in the effort of transparency. Haley.
Hey, thanks, Caroline. You made clear no U.S. boots on the ground. Is the president considering U.S. boots in the air as a form of a security guarantee?
I don't know why that just made me chuckle. It's like, no boots on the ground, but boots in the air. I know what she means, but it just sounds funny to me. I don't know why.
Look, that was something
Like air support, right? And logistics and things of that nature. But it just sounds funny.
the president mentioned on his interview.
Maybe wings in the air. I don't know.
This morning. It is an option and a possibility. I won't certainly rule out anything as far as military options that the president has at his disposal. I'll let him do that. I can tell you he's definitively ruled out boots on the ground. Sure.
Thanks, Tara. Just about the possible venue for the talks. Can you confirm that Putin suggested Moscow as a venue for the bilateral talks? And if so, doesn't that indicate that Putin is perhaps not
What's going on, LA?
that he's suggesting a venue that there's no way that Zelensky is going to go to?
Skeletor.
I'm not
What's going on, T-Rex?
Private conversations between the president and President Putin, aside from what the president himself has already spoken on. But I can tell you there are many options that are being discussed by our national security team right now with both parties.
Can you give us an indication of where?
I just told you we'll provide you details as soon as we can. Thank you for trying, though. Libby.
Thank you, Caroline. I wanted to ask
They've got really good lighting. I need to study their setup because, I mean, the lighting here is just, I mean, it's spot on.
the National Guard troops. How is the White House coordinating with how they're being
I mean, it just looks like a really bright-ass room.
placed in D.C., what areas? And then also,
The weird things that I notice, I'm sorry, guys.
how long should people here in the district anticipate the National Guard to be on the ground patrolling the streets?
Look, don't get the on my light situation. It's a constant struggle, okay? We're improving this much every day.
I don't have a timeline for you, Libby, but we will keep you posted on that. I think the president, as you know, and this administration, he came to this briefing room with members of his cabinet to lay out the rationale and the reasoning for federalizing the National Guard here in Washington, D.C., and for our work with the Metropolitan Police Department.
Nah, stop it, yo, Pacers. Pacers said, bro, even Hillary Clinton said if Trump gets peace between Russia and Ukraine, he definitely gets a peace prize. She added a caveat. The caveat was if he brokers peace without Ukraine giving up any territory. That caveat is pretty large. I was like, come on. Are you asking him to do the impossible here?
To make our district safer. We've seen violent crime has taken the lives of far too many residents here in our nation's capital, and the president wants to make it safe again. And as for the coordination efforts, this interagency team is meeting and talking daily. In fact, there's a meeting taking place right now in the West Wing with members of the interagency task force to continue to discuss not just the National Guard deployment, but also how we can continue to remove public safety threats off of the streets of Washington, which, as the numbers I just showed showed you prove they are doing every single night. I will just reiterate, 465 total arrests and counting since the start of this operation. I believe 11 or 12 days ago. I'll have to check the calendar, but those are pretty remarkable results. If not for this task force and their high level of coordination and the leadership of this president, there would have been 465 more violent criminals on the streets of this capital that you all live in every day. So I think we should all be very grateful for that. Stephen.
Thank you, Caroline. 3 questions about the DC crackdown.
Sure.
First, I was wondering if you could clarify something President Trump said. He mentioned getting rid of the slums where criminals live. Was he talking about tents or permanent residential buildings? And then the mayor has expressed an interest in clarifying how much of a focus illegal immigration enforcement is as part of this crackdown. Can you say anything about that?
Sure.
And third, any preview on the beautification?
3 questions. I'll try to answer all 3 of them pointedly for you. First, when it comes to what you said, and the president said, the slums of Washington, D.C., he's referring to the most dangerous communities, neighborhoods, and streets in this city where, unfortunately, violence has ravaged these communities and taken the lives of, again, far too many law-abiding D.C. residents. We know on July 5th of this year, just more than a month ago, a 3-year-old beautiful young girl was shot and killed in her car with her family in one of these communities, which is why there has been a surge, despite what many of you have been falsely reporting. And I believe it was the Washington Post who put out a map claiming it to be fact-based when it was just based on, I don't know, accounts that they've heard on the street, not actual statistics and data. So we went and reconfigured the numbers, and as I said, nearly half of all the non-illegal alien-related arrests have occurred in wards 7 and 8 in the District of Columbia, where we know, excuse me, there's the highest rate of crime. So we'll continue to do that. And what was your second question, Stephen?
Legal immigration, how much of a focus that is?
Yeah, look, I mean, the focus is to make D.C. safe and beautiful and to remove public safety threats and violent criminals from our streets. If federal law enforcement, with the help of the Metropolitan Police Department, come across illegal aliens, of course, we are going to abide by this administration's policy of law and order, and we are going to remove illegal criminals from our nation's capital. They will be detained and deported, just like they are in every other community across the country. Kristen.
First question is, whose idea was it to change the next steps from a trilateral to a bilateral meeting?
It was an idea that evolved in the course of the president's conversations with both President Putin, President Zelensky, and the European leaders yesterday. And as you saw, Kristen, with all of those European leaders leaving the White House, including the NATO Secretary General, they all agreed that this is a great first step. And it's a good thing that these 2 leaders are going to be sitting down together, and the president expects that to happen.
And how long is Trump willing to wait and operate in good faith for Putin to actually arrange a meeting before he intervenes?
Look, the president has put tremendous public pressure to bring this war to a close.
They always mention intervening and whatnot, but it's like, if we're sending them weapons, Ukraine that is, funding the war essentially, or just giving them the supplies they need, there's not much more we could do to quote unquote intervene outside of pressuring Russia. I mean, we have sanctions already, but pressuring Russia with what? Force? Like, there's no way. Like, how do you force them to negotiate with each other outside of sanctions, supporting one side with supplies or logistics or what have you? Like, outside of boots on the ground or air support or something along these lines, I don't really understand how you're supposed to force these 2 people to talk to each other.
He's taken actions, as you've seen, sanctions on India and other actions as well. He's made himself very clear that he wants to see this war end, and he has scoffed at the ideas of others.
Wait, you said CRXR says UK, Germany, and France want to put boots on the ground. France wants to use it for nukes. Trump is the only one trying to stop World War III.
That have been raised that we should wait another month before any meeting takes place. The president wants to move, and he wants to bring this war to an end as quickly as possible.
Just a clarification on something you said earlier about Putin agreeing to the meeting.
I don't get what your point is about BRICS. You gotta say more about BRICS. What is the implication, Casey? I've seen you a few times mention it. I'm just trying to figure out what the implication is here.
The Kremlin seemed to indicate that Putin did not firmly agree to a bilateral. Did he agree to have a sit-down with just Zelensky?
What's going on, Artem?
I can assure you that the United States government and the
Trump administration
is working with both Russia and Ukraine to make that bilateral happen as we speak. Sean.
Hey, if the point is to get everybody on the same page, why wouldn't Trump just take the call from Putin while the other leaders were in the room? He said it would be disrespectful to do that. But why is it disrespectful?
With all due respect, only a reporter from the New York Times would ask a question like
I mean,
that, Sean.
CRXR, wait, did France come out and say, hold up, maybe we'll pull up X or something while we're listening. Did France say that they're willing to use nuclear weapons? Are you saying that they want to be in Ukraine as a staging ground? Because don't most of the nuclear countries have a means to deliver the payload from wherever they are on the planet? I don't know if every country has ballistic missiles. Not every country, but every country with nuclear capabilities. Intercontinental ballistic missiles. I just figured if you're a nuclear power, you probably have that. North Korea, even North Korea says that, whether we believe them or not, that they could reach the American homeland or whatever with their missiles. I don't think you necessarily need to be in Ukraine to threaten them with nuclear weapons. And plus, that's a really stupid thing for France to do. It only takes one country fucking up with a nuclear weapon for Russia to just decide to glass Europe. So, it's not something I would be suggesting they do.
The president met with all of these European leaders at the White House 48 hours after sitting down with President Putin on American soil. In fact, there was so much progress.
Okay, who is this? Respect my gamer. You got me. I'm biting. You said, what's the one and only thing that's never happened in humankind? I don't know, man. Or woman. Tell me.
Readout that was given to these European leaders immediately following his...
All right, sorry. I'll be babbling here. Let me go back.
Only a reporter from the New York Times would ask a question like that.
I need to hear the question.
And the Trump administration is working with both Russia and Ukraine to make that bilateral happen as we speak. Sean.
Hey, if the point is to get everybody on the same page, why wouldn't Trump just take the call from Putin while the other leaders were in the room? He said it would be disrespectful to do that. But why is it disrespectful?
With all due respect, only a reporter from the New York Times would ask a question.
Yo, that's wild. I mean, not saying make a phone call and don't tell everybody else in the room that you're on the phone, but you're probably going to negotiate in private with this party. Because think about it, the two parties, right? Zelensky and Putin, doesn't seem like they're communicating and negotiating, right? So we need a third party, let's say the United States. United States comes in. They're talking to these people and they're talking to those people. They're the intermediary, right? The negotiator. It just kind of makes sense. It's kind of like common sense. It's like, yeah, at any point in the last, 3 years, 2 years, 4 years, whatever, Putin could have picked up the phone, Zelensky could have picked up the phone, they could have just called each other, right? They could have video called each other. But they don't, or they aren't, or it's not working, right? There needs to be a third party. You're like, well, why doesn't the third party the third party has both of their phone numbers. Why don't they just call both of them and do a three-way?
Question like that, Sean. The president met with all of these European leaders at the White House 48 hours after sitting down with President Putin on American soil. In fact, there was so much progress in the readout that was given to these European leaders immediately following his meeting with President Putin that Yo,
Johnny, is that bullshit? Breaking. Former AG Bill Barr testified under oath today that President Trump is in no way implicated in the Epstein files. I'll put it in my feed or in my list of things to look into. I'm curious about that. I doubt that.
Single one of them got on a plane 48 hours later and flew to the United States of America. And if
You said facts. Okay, you said facts. I swear if I look this shit up and you're lying to me.
Just read for all of you some of the statements from those European leaders yesterday. You had President Zelensky.
My Google is broke.
Himself saying it was a very good conversation.
Actually, it's running. I have to go catch it.
It was really good. We spoke about very sensitive points. The Secretary General, Mark Rutte, it was the president only because of the president that this deadlock was broken.
Juan Garcia.
But with President Putin by starting a dialogue. So these leaders, who this war is in their backyard, are very grateful that the president took that call and that he was there to provide them with a readout of Russia's thinking on this, something that was not done by the previous administration at all. Catherine.
Thank you. Is the White House looking at Budapest as a possible location?
I'm not going to confirm or deny locations. We'll provide you with details as soon.
All right, hold up. I think we got a quote. Hold on. Johnny coming in with the quotes. Barr said that he had never seen anything that would implicate President Trump in any of this, and that if there had been anything pertaining to President Trump with respect to Epstein list, ... Johnny's continuing.
And I understand that the White House is working and allies are working to make this meeting happen, but did Putin promise
Or I mean, maybe we have enough right there. Maybe we have enough right there. Don't even need to continue.
to do a meeting with Zelensky, a direct meeting.
Biden would have released it. Okay, there you go. Gotcha.
He has, and I just answered that question for you. Franco.
Thanks. I just want to clarify. So you are saying that President Trump is considering U.S. pilots and U.S. aircraft potentially supporting European or Ukrainian forces?
The president spoke to that himself this morning when he called into Fox and Friends, and I would defer you to his answer. You can read it directly yourself.
In addition, can I ask, no boots on the ground, Steve Witkoff's talking about Article 5-like security guarantees. Can you talk about what other Article 5-like security guarantees?
If I'm not mistaken, Article 5 is, hey, if we get attacked, you back us up. If you get attacked, we back you up. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't that like one of the most important? I'm sure there's like other things, maybe humanitarian aid, this, that, and the third, like the other articles and shit. First off, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not Article 5. But that seems to be one of the most important ones, right? To like any sort of like agreement like this. Like, hey, if you get attacked, we'll back you up. If you get attacked, you know. And that seems to be probably what the issue like that Putin has with Ukraine becoming part of NATO and having like this westernized country part of NATO right at his like doorstep. Because then if people want to put nuclear weapons in Ukraine, if Ukraine is being backed by every other country or is being backed by NATO, and if Russia attacks, then all the other countries have to jump in, then of course Putin would never let Ukraine join NATO. That just doesn't make sense.
That are being considered if it's not boots on the ground?
These are very sensitive diplomatic.
You think that was disrespectful to Putin? Bro, that B-2 bomber? That shit was... If you don't think that was cool... Guys, was that not cool? Hold up. I'm sorry, I don't mean to get us distracted here, but... how is that disrespectful? I would love to be able to see a B-2 bomber fly over my head like this. Hold up. Hold up. Tell me this is disrespectful. Come on, guys. What are we even talking about right here? Bro. Seeing that, like, for real would be just so cool. Enough of that.
Discussions that are currently taking place literally as we speak. So I will leave it to the national security team, and I'll leave it to the president to have those private discussions with these leaders as we try to bring this war to an end.
And can I ask one
Mary
more?
Margaret, go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. Two questions, if that's okay. So on these meetings, I know you said that the trilateral will take place if necessary. Do you think that we might not need the trilateral?
Yo, slow and low. Welcome. Oh my gosh.
And that Zelensky and Putin might come to this conclusion on their own. And then as a follow-up, I know the president said on Fox News this morning that he's partially seeking peace in order to get to heaven. Was he joking, or is there spiritual conclusion on their
Hold up, guys. I want to hear that.
own? And then as a follow-up, I know the president said on Fox News this morning that he's partially seeking peace in order to get to heaven. Was he joking?
I mean, that's a pretty good reason.
Or is there spiritual motivation behind his peace deals here?
I think the president...
He just says shit like that because it gets reporters to ask stupid-ass questions instead of important ones.
is serious. I think the president wants to get to heaven, as I hope we all do in this room.
What the hell are we talking about?
Annie.
Thanks, Caroline. I'm just shifting gears to the Department of Justice for a minute. Can you walk us through why another deputy FBI director was named? Does Trump have any displeasure with how the FBI has been being run to date? And then I have a question about the antitrust.
No, Andrew Bailey is extremely qualified. As you know, he's been serving with honor as the Attorney General of Missouri, and he's been brought on as another set of...
I have never... Yo, Jess, you said Buzz. Buzz is pissing his ass off. I have never heard that that phrase, pissing one's ass off.
A very credible and experienced...
I'm going to use that. That's going in my pocket.
The current Deputy Director, Dan Bongino.
You're pissing your ass off.
Of the Director, Kash Patel, and the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. And the FBI has been doing a tremendous job. We've seen their agents out on the streets as part of this interview.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I know this is like so stupid. I believe it was Scary Movie. I don't remember which one. Maybe it was one or two. But the president, like, the aliens are like, well, we pee out of our fingers. And then the president is like, oh, we have something in common. And he starts peeing out of his finger. That's what pissing out your ass reminded me of. I don't know why. Anyway, beside the point, guys, we got to be serious here. Jeez. Gosh.
Of the director, Kash Patel, and the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. And the FBI has been doing a tremendous job. We've seen their agents out on the streets as part of this interagency task force here in Washington. But the crime that they've been stopping here in Washington, they've been doing this for 7 months all across the country. In fact, there's been 19,000 arrests by the FBI nationwide. That's more than double last year in the same time period. Of those, 1,600 arrests were for violent crimes against children. 4,000 child victims have been rescued by this FBI under this current leadership. 1,000 arrests from investigations of foreign terrorist organizations. There's been 1,500 kilos of fentanyl seized. 6,300 kilos of meth have been seized. And 3 of the top 10 most wanted have been arrested so far. Not a single one of the individuals on the top 10 most wanted list were arrested under the previous administration.
They always mention like how much has been seized and stuff, and they could just say a lot. I mean, I guess it's good to put it into context the numbers, but when they say all that, I have no idea how much meth that is. I have no idea. Like I mean, it's a lot of meth. It sounds like a lot of meth. It sounds like a lot of drugs were seized. Like, holy shit.
We've arrested 3 in 7 months. So when you're actually working and enforcing law and order, you need all hands on deck. And so we look forward to welcoming Andrew Bailey to this new post. Jackie.
I have a quick question about Roger Alfred, who's a former DOJ official. He gave a speech in Aspen yesterday where he said that senior DOJ aides are cutting deals with favored lobbyists. I'm wondering if the president has any concerns at all with the way the antitrust division is working.
I have no idea who that individual is. I don't know why he made those comments. I don't know what basis he's making those comments on. My instinct tells me it's not true, but we will definitely look into them and I'll get you a response.
Thank you, Caroline.
Jackie.
Thanks, Caroline. Since the president often says that this war would not have started if he were in office, and Putin confirmed that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, okay. This is your guys' fault, so I don't even care. Hold on.
I had to ask if you think that's strange.
This is what your comment made me think of, just so we're all on the same page.
I had to ask. If you think that's strange, you should see how we pee.
So we're not so different after all.
So stupid. All right, guys, back to seriousness. Goddamn.
You accept? My instinct tells me it's not true, but we will definitely look into them and I'll get you a response.
Thank you, Caroline.
Jackie.
Thanks, Caroline. Since the president often says that this war would not have started if he were in office, and Putin confirmed that.
Oh, the kick! I didn't even. No, I haven't seen this movie in like 20 years. It's going back on my list. I need to watch that again.
True. Do you accept that as truth? The
Probably.
European leaders do. And President Putin himself said that, by the way.
He did say that. The question I have, though, is what is the president going to do to ensure that these security guarantees last beyond him into the time when he is no longer president? And does that have to involve Congress at all?
Well, he understands the need for that, which he spoke to yesterday. And what's he going to do? It's why he's engaging in so many talks and so many conversations with both sides of this war with our European allies. It's why on the way home from Anchorage, Alaska, very late at night, when I know many of you on the press plane were sleeping and many staff were sleeping, the president himself was still awake at 2 o'clock in the morning talking to European leaders.
The Ministry of Truth. What's going on, Morning Eagle? I need to reread that book, 1984.
And NATO about how we can ensure a lasting peace and bring this conflict to an end. He has expended an incredible amount of time, energy, and effort into bringing this war to an end, and he remains determined to do that.
Wait, stop. You said slow and low. I argue the White House should have a live stream, similar to a pay-per-view, but citizenship will gain you access, and on the live stream, it's nothing but arrests. To what end? What are we trying to do? Where's that money going? I'm confused. And why would you make it only a citizen? I'm so confused.
Also, can I ask you about
Slow and low. Sometimes you have some really banger ideas. This one, maybe it's just like 300 IQ and I just can't keep up with it.
Thank you, Caroline.
DC crime?
Sure, Jake, and then to your right.
Thank you, Caroline.
Which of the half dozen peace deals that the president's pulled off would you say he's the most proud of? And then I have another question.
That's a
Which amazing thing did this guy do that he's most proud of? Like, he's done all of these amazing things, but which one does he feel most proud of? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could ask that question. It's like, how far would you like my cock or his cock in my mouth, basically? I mean,
President's pulled off would you say he's the most proud of? And then I have another question.
That's a good question, Jake. I'll leave that to the president.
of course, it's a good question. It's just funny. It's just funny. Like,
Answer. I think he's
those types of questions are just like, we call them softball questions. It's like, oh my gosh.
of all of the peace deals that he's been able to achieve.
Another one. Oh, does Trump want to end this war so he can go to heaven? Sure. It's just like, what kind of question is that? Like, it just doesn't even... What are you even supposed to say in that scenario? No. No, he wants to go to hell. Like, what are we even saying?
You saw the president of Armenia and the head of Azerbaijan both at the White House just a couple of weeks ago. The president, I know, very much enjoyed spending time with them and helping to bring that conflict to an end. He very much enjoyed his time with leaders of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo in the Oval Office, talking to them about bringing that decades-long war to an end. India and Pakistan. He used trade in a very...
Yeah, I was going to say, one thing that never gets talked about, and at one point it did, was apparently a bunch of children went missing at the border. And I forget what the number was. Hold on. What was the number? It was something like ridiculous. I was like, well, how do you lose this many people? How many children went missing at border? Blah, 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 blah. All right. Well, recent claims, including those made by former President Trump, well, sure. And his administration suggest that over 300,000 migrant children who crossed the U.S. border unaccompanied have gone missing. However, the accuracy of this figure is disputed by experts and fact checkers. Okay, but what type of dispute are we making? Like, no, it's not 300,000, it's 200,000. Or is it, no, it's not 300,000, it's 1,000. See, there's a large difference, because if it's only a 50,000 person discrepancy, the distinction doesn't matter, okay? That's too many people, children especially, to just go missing, okay? Actually, you know how many people go missing in the United States each year? How many people in the U.S. go missing every year? This stat blew my mind. Approximately 600,000 people are reported missing in the United States every year. Now, of course, some of that is runaways or this or that, so I'm sure that number is a bit inflated, but that's still a fucking crazy number.
Powerful way as leverage to bring that.
Oh, and sometimes people go missing and they want to go missing. So, like, there's a lot of things that get counted in that number, but still a very scary number, taking it at face value.
To an end. So I know he's very proud of all of these achievements, and I know he's very honored to serve as the president of the United States and to restore.
Yo, Pacers, shut up. You're like, I imagine it would be pretty easy to lose undocumented people. I mean, they're undocumented. Okay, man, I hear you.
Peace around this world. Go ahead.
So you mentioned Armenia and Azerbaijan.
But you had to document their undocumented status in the first place. You see what I'm saying?
That's a conflict that, I spent time in the Southern Caucasus covering that. And, a conflict of over 30 years, and he resolved it in just...
Sometimes I kind of do my hair. Kind of like that. Like, I'll twist up, like, my stuff right here. Sometimes. But then sometimes I shave it off. I don't know. Sorry, what was he saying?
Go ahead.
You mentioned Armenia and Azerbaijan. That's a conflict that, I spent time in the Southern Caucasus covering that. And, a conflict of over 30 years, and he resolved it in just...
Oh, wait, hold up. My volumes. Which volumes? Because he's talking low. Like, the cameras in here are kind of low, the microphones. Hopefully my microphone isn't too low. But I can't really... I could try to turn up... Hold up, let me see. I just don't want to blow your guys' ears out either. This might be better, but I don't want to blow your ears out.
Couple of months. Are there other conflicts that the president's working on right now that are off the radar screen that we should be tracking?
Maybe.
In fact, there are many. The State Department is always working around the clock under the leadership of.
All right, I don't know why my volume would be low, so we're just gonna have to keep rocking with it. We're gonna have to keep rocking with it, guys.
Secretary Rubio and keeping the president apprised of conflicts that are bubbling up all over the world. But of course, as you all know, as we've talked a lot about in this briefing, he's spending a lot of time right now on ending this war in Russia-Ukraine, and of course the conflict in Israel and Gaza, which he wants to see come to a close as well. Sure, go ahead.
Make sure I don't have. I have like 50 dials. It's crazy.
Mail-in voting, but states administer elections, not federal authorities. So can you provide any more details about how the White House plans to eliminate that?
The White House continues to work.
Yeah, I just have to remember because when I go to another video that actually has good sound, you guys' ears are probably going to be blown off. Oh, actually, here, I could turn this up too. There you go.
On this, and when Congress comes back to Washington, I'm sure there will be many discussions with our friends on Capitol Hill and also our friends in state legislatures across the country to ensure that we're protecting the integrity of the vote for the American people. And
you guys realize every election from this point forward will be contested. Every election, people are going to say it was cheated, it was stolen. Now, maybe I'm young, but I felt like that was a new thing. It felt like the 2016 election was like the first time that I noticed that happen, but that was the first time I was really paying attention to politics. I was like 18 or something. But is it normal for after, well, who was it? Was it Al Gore? There was one point in time when it was really close and somebody won the popular vote, but somebody else won the Electoral College. Was it Bush? But is it normal for after an election, everybody's like, it was stolen, it was stolen?
I think Republicans generally.
Yeah, this is before my time, the Al Gore and whatnot.
It's easier for Americans to vote and harder for people to cheat in our elections. And it's quite mind-boggling that the Democrat Party could stand in opposition to common sense. He wants to ensure election integrity. There were great efforts that were made.
Yo, Casey, you said the dollar's gonna fall. Well, it sounds like you have some precognition or something. Could you tell me what to transfer my dollar into? All right, let's do some Forex here. What currency am I buying?
Made in 2024. I won't get ahead of myself for Hatch Act reasons to get ahead for the next election.
You said only start Gore versus Bush and only by Republican. No, it's not normal. Only cheats think that way. What's going on, Shirley? When they are close and more people vote. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There were some weird number things between 2020 and 2024, but people point to mail-in ballots being why there were more votes. Oh, shit. The hell did I just click?
But I can assure you this is a priority for the president. Go ahead.
If I could just follow up on your comments about Gaza.
Sure.
There was a ceasefire proposal put forward by both Qatar and Egypt. Hamas accepted it on Monday. Israel has yet to officially weigh in. I'm wondering if the U.S. was at all involved in it, if it's supportive of it, and whether or not the president believes Israel should accept it.
Tax watchman. What's going on?
I don't think it's a coincidence that
15 to 20 million less voters in 2024. Yeah, I really want to look into this, but people will point to the fact that I'm pretty sure I got a mail-in ballot. I'm trying to think. If I did a mail-in ballot that year, or if did I go somewhere to vote? I just feel like we got like a couple mail-in ballots at our place. And I felt like every place got them.
Hamas accepted this proposal after the President of the United States posted a very strong statement about this conflict on Truth Social yesterday. I would refer you back to that statement. As for this proposal that Hamas has now accepted,
Nightbot, what?
The United States continues to discuss it, and I'll let the President weigh in on it definitively. You're welcome. Sure.
I'll be up too late at night and I'll put like random commands in the Nightbot and forget about them. So I guess if you say Joe or Joe Biden, Nightbot will say that you found Joe.
Can you describe the president's perspective on taking a stake in Intel in exchange for federal grants? And is this are we expecting to see the White House make similar arrangements with other semiconductor companies and manufacturing?
No, man. The outrage is not, if we're talking about the Epstein stuff, I don't care if Trump's name's in it. I don't care if Clinton's name's in it. Hillary's name, you know, Bill Clinton, Hillary, whatever. I don't care. But whoever's name, and not just in it, because okay, if they met at a party one day, like a normal party, you know, like a normal party, guys, and they didn't do any weird shit, then okay, fine. But we want the list of names of like, who was he trafficking these people to? I don't care. Again, not to repeat myself. Right, left, center. Okay? Put them under the prison. Put them under the prison. It's pretty simple.
Well, the president, he's been very clear about the need to reshore manufacturing that's critical to our national and economic security. That is especially in regards to chips and semiconductors, which is why the president has initiated the Commerce Department to conduct a study on semiconductors, a Section 232 investigation, so we can ultimately implement tariffs. And it's why our export license requirements remain in place as well. As for this 10% government stake deal, the Department of Commerce continues to work on it. I know Secretary Lutnick is working on it and ironing out the details.
We got into that yesterday, guys, the whole ID to vote thing. I'm not going to lie, I was ranting about it for a minute yesterday. I don't even know if I want to touch that again.
That the president wants to put America's needs first, both from a national
Tasneem, how's it going?
Perspective, and it's a creative idea that has never been done.
What is that? Tasneem Ahmad Khan Durrani. Tasneem Ahmed. Tasneem Ahmed Khan Durrani. I'm probably not saying it right, but I tried.
Done before to ensure that we're both reshoring these critical supply chains while also gaining something of it for the American taxpayer. You're welcome. Emily.
Thanks, Caroline. I wanted to ask about the
Steve. Oh.
Venezuela, and there's 4,000 Marines on board. Are you looking at possibility of boots on the ground there?
What I will say with respect to Venezuela.
Wait, making chips. Are you counting? Doesn't Taiwan produce a lot of them as well?
President Trump has been very clear and consistent.
Astra, go back to the victim depositions, and they explicitly state they were almost exclusively trafficked to just Epstein. Remember, the left never lets a tragedy go to waste. Wait, you're saying the victim depositions? I swear there were victims. What about the Prince Andrew situation? I'm trying to think of some of these off the top of my head, but like right off the top of my head, Prince Andrew, right? Allegedly, this, that, and the third, guys, okay? We're just talking about opinions and hypotheses, okay? Allegedly. Whatever, I gotta insert here. My opinion. China, Taiwan, Japan, okay. I think she's a little older than 25. I don't think it's a full lie situation. I think she's doing her job. I mean, and it's pretty impressive just how, like, on top of it she is. I've only seen her slip up, like, a couple times. At least in what I've seen. I've seen a decent amount. I haven't seen, like, every press briefing. But we do catch a decent amount of them here.
He's prepared to
allegedly. I need like a sign in the back that just says allegedly, or like a button I could click. It'll just pop up on the screen anytime I'm talking shit.
Every element of American power to stop drugs from flooding into our country and to bring those responsible to justice. The Maduro regime is not the legitimate government of Venezuela. It is a narco-terror cartel. In Maduro, it is the view of this administration, is not a legitimate president. He is a fugitive head of this cartel who has been indicted in the United States for trafficking drugs into the country. And with that, I will leave you all, and we will see you.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did he say almost exclusively? Almost oh my gosh, good catch. Yo, good catch. Oh wait, you're the one that typed it. I'm a dumbass. Guys, reading comprehension. All right? I have an excuse. The chat is on the other side of the room, okay? All right, so that was the end of that. I wish I could say that the next subject we're going to cover is less contentious than this politics. However, the next subject we're going to cover actually falls in culture. Actually, this is a B-2 bomber. We can do that one more time just for shits and giggles. You know, why not? Badass. Ah, we're done. Now let's get serious, guys. Let's get serial. Wait, okay, that's not serious. Hold up. There we go. All right, guys. This is probably going to somehow be more contentious than politics, or the politics we've been watching. This is a video from Jubilee. This came out the 17th, so a couple days ago. A lot of people are reacting to this. It's causing some waves, okay? It is one black radical versus 20 black conservatives, featuring Amanda Seales. Hopefully I said her name right. I guess let's do some housekeeping real quick. Boom. Release the files. 87% of you say yes right now. 13% of you say, what files? All right, let's go.
Culture is toxic. And let's get on the fact that black culture is toxic. And let's get on the fact that there's no fathers in the black home. Let's talk about that.
Stop.
Who do we
You're
vote
talking
for?
to a radical, not a Democrat. The radical mind state simply is living opposite to our colonizers, which is an imperialist, capitalist mind state, and radical blacks do not believe that.
Sorry, guys. See, I wish I would have remembered. I probably blew your freaking ears out. Let me change my audio settings. Damn. I find this interesting because I have, it's a popular subject, but also I have this conversation in even my personal life with people, or conversations like this. All right, let's go.
For us to have liberation. Well, here's
So
what
when
you
you-
all keep
no,
doing.
no, no,
You
just
keep
give me-
interrupting me when I'm talking, and you don't want to hear the point that I'm going to make.
the point that
and
you're
yet you want
raising-
me to respect your.
P. Norton, what's going on? Glad you can make it. Always good to see you. How you doing? I appreciate. Hey guys, if you enjoy the vibe, oh my gosh, this is a perfect time to double tap that screen. Like, if you haven't already, and I've won your subscription, guys, we're at $34.99. One more sub, and I'm at $3,500. I'll be happy. All right.
Point. And that's not how a debate works. If I show you respect, give me the respect back. Ooh, I knew I was gonna be surrounded by ignorance, but damn, let's go. Greetings. I am Amanda Seales, widely known as a comedian, an actress, a disruptor, an annoying person on the internet who always tells the truth. And I am now an artistic intellectual who commits myself to making art that educates. And today, I am surrounded by 20 black conservatives. My first claim is
3,500. Let's go. Hold up. Stop. I keep forgetting I have this. I couldn't have done it without you guys. I want to say thank you to... Oh, wait. They stopped clapping. Okay, never mind. Let's continue.
it is undeniable that reparations are just and necessary.
Okay. Let's get serious. So, our first point is it's undeniable that reparations are just and necessary. Let's get into it. Uh-oh, try before JT. This is our Ukrainian in chat.
It's fair, necessary. My question would be, who's going to get it? Why would they get it? And how long are we going to sit here focusing on trying to get reparations? It's been how many years since slavery? 150 years, 1865? Whenever there's a real thing that this country wants to do, they do it. Stop Asian hate. Okay, there's a problem with the Asian hate. Let's draft a bill, sign it, and it's done. Anything that needs to be done is done. With us, it's a carrot they dangle in front of us that they don't really want to do. And it's not going to help. We need education. Oh, it's not going to help. No, it's not. We need education. Getting a check from the government is not going to do that. And we need proper education. A lot of us go to these institutions where we're not really prepared, we're not really focused, and we don't get things that'll help us in the real world. So if you want to help black people, a check from the government, from our tax dollars is going to get raised, because let's be clear, everybody in here is black. We all American, we all got to pay taxes. It'll go to that. So I don't really see how this is going to help us at all.
Okay. Well, first I'll start with, it will help on even just a more...
Well, his first question was who gets it, if I'm not mistaken. That's a really good question. Not all black people here necessarily come from descendants of slaves or are descendants of slaves. How do you just figure out who is who? Now, maybe there's some sort of data on that, or, you know, we could look at like family trees or something along those lines. But it's like, that's kind of tough. And then what happens if if that doesn't fix the issues. There are issues that you could, like, for example, a person could win $100 million in the lottery. They could end up broke after that. Apparently that happens a lot, right? So just throwing money at an issue doesn't always solve the issue. Like, a lot of people, I don't know how, it blows my fucking mind, go broke after winning the Mega Millions. But it happens. So again, his first question was, who gets it? I mean, he asked like 3 or 4 questions, to be fair. But anyway, sorry.
At all.
Okay. Well, first I'll start with, it will help on even just a moral level. The reality is that the United States has become very comfortable with the fact that it does not consider black people equal. And it shows that in
let me just let her finish.
many ways that I'm sure we will discuss over the course of today.
Okay.
But ultimately, there has not been a committed, concerted effort to shifting the mindset around the use of black people as a labor force in this nation. Back when it was slavery, now in the use of slavery as slave labor in prisons. So on a basic cultural level, reparations are an act of repair. They are an effort to say,
according to the Oxford Dictionary, reparation means the making of amends for a wrong one is done by paying money to or otherwise helping those who have been wronged. Okay. I think one of the issues that a lot of people run into with reparations is the fact that you're taking money from people today. Like, the money has to come from taxes, meaning people have to pay into this system. So who's paying? Probably people that aren't receiving the reparations, right? This is gonna be coming from other people. So let's say white people. So, okay, the white people are paying the reparations through taxes, right? But then again, these white people have not been slaveholders. These white people aren't really associated with that. Especially, imagine if you're like a poor white person and like living in a trailer park or something. Or like whatever. Not that trailer parks are bad. Some of my family lives in trailer parks. Funny enough, on my white side. But regardless, now they have to pay for something that happened hundreds of years ago that they don't necessarily have anything to do with. It's just a little weird. It's a little weird. And then you're giving money to people who you could say systemically, because of the ripples of history, ended up in this position rather than this other position, and we could play the whole butterfly effect game. Not to say it's a complete game, because Jim Crow was, 70 years ago or something. Redlining's a thing. Like, these things existed. But again, it's like you're giving something to somebody who isn't directly affected, although they're affected like downstream, for sure. We can see that. But they're not directly affected, and you're taking the money from people who didn't directly gain or take anything from anybody. So I don't know. It's very odd. It's kind of tough.
On a basic cultural level, reparations are an act of repair. They are
actually, I'm sorry, guys. I think Norton probably put it way better than me. Norton says, so you're going to take money from people who never owned slaves and give it to people that never were slaves. Sounds like a great idea. Yeah, you put it so much more succinctly than I. I'm trying to think these things out, like, as we're going here.
Effort to say, our bad, we see you now. We have seen that done with Japanese folks who were put in internment camps. We have seen that done with Jewish folks. We have seen that done even in the case.
The German government. Oh, hold up. So for the Japanese, Congress and Reagan administration paid $20,000 to Japanese Americans who were forced into internment camps during World War II.
Folks who were put in internment camps. We have seen that done with Jewish folks. We have seen that.
The German government has paid Holocaust survivors more than $90 billion over the past 80 years. Damn.
That done even in the case of slave owners who received.
President Lincoln signed a law in 1862 that provided slave owners in D.C. up to $300 for every slave they freed. The payments were meant to end slavery in D.C. and granted freedom to 2,989 people. The former slaves received nothing for their previous work, nor to help them transition.
Done with Jewish folks. We have seen that done even in the case of slave owners who received reparations. When it comes to the use of tax dollars to pay reparations, and this is going to come up a lot today, it's a matter of values, right? For me, my value system circulates around the fact that I think that as a community, we should all be engaged in repair for our community. So I don't think there should be any problem with there being tax dollars spent at repairing consistent efforts that have been made to impede Black people. So the reparations you're talking about are not just related to slavery. There's reparations that have been discussed all over this nation in different communities.
The conservatives can raise their flags when they would like a different speaker. Okay.
as it relates to particular massacres, as it relates to redlining and the impediment of Black people to earn wealth by having property. There's been impediments in various ways that can be repaired. And I want to also just add, there's reparations that are considered a cash payment from a government. There's also the version of reparations that shows up in how funds are applicated to specific groups of people. So there's multiple ways in which what you're stating cannot happen.
I don't know if they just did a cut there or if she's going to explain that second part of her statement.
Could very well happen.
Because the cash infusion makes sense. I would like her to give an example.
Okay, now
there's multiple ways are applicated to specific groups of people.
Like, I'm curious how the money is applicated to certain groups of people. And she said in many ways, but I didn't hear. I would like just an example of that. But they might have done a cut right there because.
So there's multiple ways in which what you're stating cannot.
So
happen.
I don't know.
Could very well happen.
Okay, now as far as the money going towards certain things is going to help us, let's look at Baltimore public schools. They get, I think, the third most money per pupil in the U.S.
Baltimore City spends $18,272 per student, the 13th highest of the nation's 100 largest districts. Despite spending only 16% of despite the spending, only 16% of 8th graders read at or above national standards, and only 13% of 4th graders. So it's so they're spending a bunch of money, but the money is not raising test scores. Is not effective in boosting education is the argument.
Let's look at Baltimore public schools. They get, I think, the third most money per pupil in the US of A, like $15,000 per student, but yet the majority of the population that comes from that environment can't read. They're illiterate. So we're dumping money on the situation, yes, but yet we're not getting the results we should get from it. Money's not going to help the thing. We need to just focus on what we need to focus on. As far as Black people being labor force of this country, what else are we doing? We got 25% of us.
Black people receive varying levels of government assistance. 37% are enrolled in Medicaid, or CHIP. 24% receive SNAP. 13% receive free or reduced school meals.
On some kind of government assistance, 1 out of every 3 Black men will go to jail. We got to do something. We got to work with our hands, work with tools, do something, because we're not doing much of anything. And also, one more piece here. Reparations, again, always dangling in front of us, never going to happen.
Okay, the only pushback I'm going to have is, I mean, yes, I agree, dumping money on something doesn't always fix the issue. I happen to believe that there's probably tons of corruption everywhere. So that $18,000 that they're spending per student, I wonder if that $18,000 is actually going towards the students' education and all of that kind of stuff. I want to see the breakdown. I want to see the balance sheets here and see where that $18,000 is being spent, or somehow just bits of that money are just kind of disappearing somewhere. Not saying that's the case, but a lot of times I want to see if there's corruption, like right off the bat. Like we put this much money into this thing. Did all the money actually go to that thing? Because if you find out that 50% of the shit's being skimmed, then that makes it a whole different ordeal.
As long as you've been living, as long as I've been living, as long as everybody been living, they say we need it, and it never gets done. One more piece.
You just said one more piece, then you're adding another one.
I promise.
So hold on to it. No, hold on to it.
I'm gonna land the plane.
That's why I'm saying I need to know how they calculate that $18,000 or how they calculate how much is spent on each pupil. I take it, I mean, are you taking like all the salaries of everybody and all like the costs of material, just everything, and then just kind of dividing by the students in that district or class or what have you?
The plane, I promise. Reparations is a thing, like I said, it's a carrot to dangle in front of us.
I'm not saying teachers either. I'm more administration or like people that are like higher up. I mean, teachers, no, I'm not talking about them.
Really going to get it done. And if it was going to get done, it would have already been done. It's just something that they're using to try and make us.
I mean, it's crazy when, you know, apparently all this money goes to schools, but then it's like you got to take a box or two of Kleenex or send your kid with a box of Kleenex because they don't have money for Kleenex in the class. So your kid gets like a 5-point bonus if they bring in a box of Kleenex for the class. Like, what the fuck? Sorry, it's just like things I remember from school.
Like I said,
and basically our teacher being like, I can't afford to buy Kleenex for the classroom. You guys need to bring your own and I'll give you 5 points, 10 points extra credit. I hear nowadays for kids to go to school, they just require the parents to send them with boxes of Kleenex for the class. I'm not sure if that's true. I'm sure it varies from place to place. And then obviously funding, doesn't that go off a property tax when it comes to schools? So that's like a whole nother part of it.
You just said one more piece, then you're adding another one.
I promise.
So hold on to it. No, hold on to it.
I'm gonna land the plane. I'm gonna land the plane. I promise. Reparations is a thing. Like I said, it's a carrot to dangle in front of us. They're never really going to get it done. And if it was going to get done, it would have already been done. It's just something that they're using to try and make us stay Democrat. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, Democrats.
Basically, like, as he said earlier, it's a carrot that's being dangled in front of you every 4 years. Nobody's talking about reparations, during midterms. You know what I mean? But every 4 years, somebody's going to roll out and start talking about reparations.
Not doing reparations either. This is nonpartisan. This is black partisan, baby. Okay.
Well,
this is nonpartisan.
Who do we vote for? Who do we vote for? 93% of the time. There's no incentive.
To be quite honest, you're not talking to a Democrat. You're talking to a radical.
Okay, but let's
land this plane very quickly.
Who do we vote for?
Let's land this plane quickly.
Who do we vote
You're
for?
talking to a radical, not a Democrat.
Still, but I mean that's kind of beside his point. I mean okay.
Okay, and you are your own person.
Let me tell you
something
now. I don't know what they told you, but if they told you that cutting me off is how we're going to get clicks, stop it now.
Oh no,
that's not how we're going to. That's not how we're going to enter.
We having a debate.
A debate does not require continuously cutting somebody off.
It's just like all of this is almost gish galloping. No. What's it called when you stand there and you just keep talking to try to waste time? It's not gish galloping because that's throwing out multiple points, too many for the person to be able to respond to. When you stand at a podium and you keep talking to delay a bill, filibuster. It's like she's filibustering.
Told you, but if they told you that cutting me off is how we're going to get clicks, stop it now.
Oh no.
That's not how
Appreciate y'all.
we're going to enter.
We having a debate.
A debate does not require continuously cutting somebody off.
Okay, no problem.
Now I do want to state this. You're stating things as it relates to how money is not fixing a problem without acknowledging the fact that the problem doesn't exist in a vacuum. And that there are so many other factors that are determining how that money is getting spent to impede it from actually fixing a problem. You can put all the money into Baltimore public schools you want, but if you are also putting all this money into policing, into communities...
Wait, what? Wait, stop. I'm trying to follow her. He said all this money is going into the schools, yet the scores are not reflecting that dumping more money is going to increase test scores, increase reading levels, what have you. He's like, so I don't know if it's necessarily a money issue. Her response is, well, sure, there's other factors like policing. What does policing have to do with whether this person reads at a 3rd, 6th, or 9th grade level? I'm sorry, that was just like, that felt a little weird, a little off there. Maybe I'm misunderstanding.
There are so many other factors that are determining how that money is getting spent to impede it from actually fixing a problem. You can put all the money into Baltimore public schools you want, but if you are also putting all this money into policing, into communities that are not getting resources, then you are also creating your own conundrum. The other part of this is that when you're saying they, the they is a broad context. And the last part of this...
Let's cut it down. Let's be specific.
...is that you keep saying they're dangling this in our face. They're dangling in our face. Slavery lasted for 400 years. It hasn't even been 400 years since slavery. So should we be only fighting for a quarter of the time to get repair?
All right. I'm so sorry. You've been voted out.
Did she just say that there needs to be 400 years? Okay, let me stop. Let me just...
Jordan, please return to your seat.
Okay.
My name is Matt Nuclear.
Hello, Matt. Nuclear?
Matt Nuclear, yes.
Matt Nuclear, give me a better handshake.
I saw a clip from this guy earlier.
Actually having this conversation with a beautiful black woman like yourself. This is nice, beautiful arena here. I disagree that reparations are necessary. I think the most important thing that's necessary right now for the black community would be the stopping of violence, especially black on black violence. I don't see how reparations is going to solve anything. You can give...
I don't know. It's just frustrating because I don't feel like she's trying to engage this in good faith. It's like, guess what? You might think what he's saying is crazy, but he might think what you're saying is crazy. Yet they're trying to engage you, it seems like so far, in good faith and have an actual conversation. But if every time somebody says something to you, you go, oh my God, how can you be so ignorant? It's like, that's not a fucking conversation. You're never going to convince anybody, and you're always going to lose elections. Like, goddamn, like, have some respect for people. Like, goddamn, like, not everybody thinks the way you think.
black on black violence. I don't see how reparations is going to solve anything. You can give everyone here like a $50,000 check, especially people that are in the streets who are committing violent crimes consistently. A $50,000 check, it's not going to fix anything. It's not going to increase the median household income in the next 10 years.
Listen, guys, you give me a $50,000 check right now, I'm telling you it'll fix some things. It'll fix some things, okay? I'm just saying, okay? I follow what he's saying and I get his point, but in my personal circumstance, 50K, shit. 25K right now, man, let me tell you, I might put some new tires on my car. No, I think actually I did replace my tires recently. I don't even need tires. Let's call it 10K.
By 10% or 20%. For example, we have the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. We prevented Chinese people from getting citizenship and even entering the country. We discriminated against them and basically put them under apartheid, even here in the United States.
Congress passed the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, banning Chinese laborers from entering the U.S. at the time. At the time, Chinese workers came to America to send money back to their families, and they were willing to work for lower wages than Americans.
States, yet they have the highest median household income. How is that possible? How come they don't complain and feel entitled consistently to beg for reparations and beg for this when they are killing each other 90% of the time, which is the rate that black people kill each other according to the FBI?
Oh, young Matt.
Yet white people are the oppressors.
I'm not sure where your education came from, but they lied.
All of this is fluff. I don't know where your education came from, but they lied to you. Oh, this, oh, that. Oh, answer, you don't need all of that fluff, all of that preamble, all of that. You're just running out the clock. I get it. Sometimes you talk to let your brain think of like answers and stuff, but sometimes you can't just shut up and think. Like sometimes you guys will see me. I'll shut my mouth and I'll think about something. You don't have to just fill empty space with words. Okay? We can have silence. Guess what? The production of Jubilee seems pretty good. They're going to cut the silences out. Okay? Oh my gosh. It's just like, again, it's like you have to have some sort of respect to be a good interlocutor with somebody and be able to actually communicate, share ideas, and maybe come away with something. If you haven't changed your mind, and I don't expect people to change their mind in one conversation. That's not how things work. But you should have something more to work with when you walk away, or at least have a better understanding of the other side. If she walks in here and she's like, basically all these conservative people are evil, they're in the sunken place, they're Uncle Toms, whatever she wants to call them and shit. And then she walks out of there saying the same thing, but they've made like decent points. They don't seem to be portraying themselves in the way that she sees them. Then she hasn't learned anything after the conversation. Like, I want to see her steel man their arguments.
Lied to you.
That is, give their arguments in the best light. Like the most good faith representation of their arguments. Not to say all their arguments are perfect. Not to say that they're all correct, right? But it's just a way of communicating with each other so you could actually get somewhere rather than just sitting here going for sound bites and shit. It's just like so stupid. And I understand it's like, you know, it's YouTube, it's the internet, blah, blah, blah. Like obviously, you know, but still it's frustrating.
Which is the rate that black people kill each other according to the FBI.
Oh, young Matt.
Yet white people are the oppressors.
I'm not sure where your education came from, but they lied to you.
Stats don't lie, though.
Statistics lie all the time. So let's start there, particularly when the statistics are coming from the sources that gain from the statistics being shown a different way. So if you're going to start your argument on stats don't lie, you've already lost the argument. They lie all the time.
But she has to point out how they lie. It's not the stats that lie. It's the people manipulating them. You could p-hack. You can have an unbiased sample. You can a biased sample. You can, there's like ways you could play with numbers. Yes, people can manipulate the perception of what a stat says. But to say that the stat itself lies, I don't think it's very accurate. You have to point to, first off, take his source and then point to the issues with the source. Point to the issues with the study. But just to say, well, stats lie. I swear, if at any point she pulls out a stat, has she pulled out a stat yet? At any point, if she pulls out a stat, I'm going to be like.
Comparing Chinese people who are immigrants that made a choice to come to the United States and comparing the continued effort of black people to ground themselves in a nation that continues to make impediments for them to show and live and exist in their true citizenship is a false equivalency.
I don't believe that happens at all. No one here is in.
Are you acting right now? Do you really believe it?
But it's just all of this. Oh my gosh.
The continued
performative. It's very performative.
Ground themselves in a nation that continues to make impediments for them to show and live and exist in their true citizenship is a false equivalency.
I don't believe that happens at all. No one here is in.
Are you acting right now? Do you really believe
I'm telling
this?
the truth. There's no systemic racism that I've experienced here in America. What system is racist? I think the only racism we've actually seen recently, systemic racism that we've seen, is the application of systemic racism against white people. The University of Western Washington, for example, has been trying to segregate dormitories using black-only dormitories because black people feel safer amongst each other, but they're more likely to kill each other than white people are ever to kill them. That's just the truth. You have King Von rapping about killing other black men. Why should I think that the white man is the oppressor when black men are more likely to kill me?
Oh my
Tell
God,
me.
this is
I wish.
Scary.
How is it scary? That's not even a bit. I'm sorry. I love all types of music. I listen to some music that is just terrible. They just literally talk about selling drugs, killing people, trapping, and just, I mean, that's it. Like, that's it. And fucking bitches. But it makes me push the gas pedal harder. You know what I mean? I could feel something. But I could also recognize that if I were to go and do all these things in the song, I would be a hindrance to society, right? I could play a video game where I go and I shoot people, right? Now, I do think that there must be some tiny little subtle thing that, like, simulating shooting people, like Call of Duty, right? Simulating running around killing people has to have some small effect on you. Like, it just, maybe, even if it's super subtle, right? It's weird that we simulate killing each other. It's weird that we celebrate killing each other in music, which, of course, it's not a celebration. It's a reflection of their environment. Okay, cool. So when you make millions of dollars as a rapper, then if it's a reflection of your environment, then you should probably not be talking about shooting people, because now your environment is so that you're not in that environment anymore. You're not shooting people. You're like living in a gated community. Okay, you have millions of dollars. Like, come on. But for her to just be like, oh, you're so lost. I don't know who educate. Like, come on, you know what he's talking about. Like, what are you talking about? Oh my gosh, it like blows my mind. You know what? I don't know, because YouTube's gonna hit me. I have some music I'm gonna play for you guys. And we can sit here and we can say, is this possibly bad? Is this possible? Now, I'm not saying censor music, censor art. I love art, and I love bad music. I love not bad music. You know what I'm saying? I love all things. But we could also just acknowledge them for what they are.
It's the truth. You have King Von rapping about killing other black men. Why should I think that the white man is the oppressor when black men are more likely to kill me?
Oh my God, this is scary. You need to think about me as your mama. Do not talk to me in that fashion. So,
bro, I wish, man. I have one mother. She's dead, okay? I'm not gonna talk to you like my fucking mother. The fuck are you talking about?
Why should I think that the white man is the oppressor when black men are more likely to kill me?
It's just this disrespect, this entitlement. I'm sorry. I want to hear her points, and I really do. I want to understand. But damn, dude, like, you are just such a bad interlocutor. You are such a bad person to, like, represent this. I'm sorry. Like, oh my God.
Black men. Why should I think that the white man is the oppressor when black men are more likely to kill me?
Oh my God, this is scary. You need to think about me as your mama. Do not talk to me in that fashion.
Dude, oh my God.
That now. Okay.
That is just, and she could have said elder. She could have said, you know what I mean? Senior. You ain't my mother. You ain't his mother either. Unless I don't know something. You know?
Basic level, we have to understand that systemic racism is grounded in the realities that Black people have not been considered an equal human being in this country since its onset. So there's simply no way to make the argument that there isn't systemic racism when we have seen in very clear ways the system operate in an organically racist way. Do not cut me off. When we talk about systemic racism, we can start with even the fact that redlining, which was implemented to discriminate Black communities.
Yes.
Are you shaking your head that redlining doesn't exist?
No, it did.
I'm saying I don't think it really existed at all. I mean, no, I don't think.
Wait, did it? Wait, what did he say? Okay, maybe I thought redlining was a thing. Hold on, let's read this. Redlining is the practice of denying mortgages to those who live in neighborhoods considered quote-unquote risky. Lenders targeted Black and immigrant communities in urban areas. The practice was outlawed in 1968. I'm curious what his argument is to that.
Shaking your head that redlining doesn't exist?
No, I'm saying I don't think it really existed at all. I mean, no, I don't think so at all.
So it does exist. And stating that it doesn't exist doesn't make it no longer exist. Redlining absolutely exists. It is not something that's being made up. It's an empirical fact. And there are realities that exist because of redlining. We know that school systems are related to the way that property taxes are.
Right, I said that earlier. Property taxes provide more than 1/3 of funding to public schools nationwide. Therefore, school districts with lower home values have less local funding. I mean, how do you guys feel about that? Should they just like decouple those things entirely? Should property tax have that big of an effect on, or like, you know, home value in the area have that big of an effect on how much funding a school gets?
School system is not getting the same property value as the property taxes allow it, then it's not going to have the same efficacy at allowing for students to be able to get what they deserve. When we talk about systemic racism, we have to acknowledge that these private prisons are literally built based on the test scores of school students in 3rd grade.
Wait, what? Oh, hold up. While there is a direct correlation between literacy and education levels and incarceration rates, the claims that prison planners use that data to decide where to build has been debunked. All right, so her point, I guess, was debunked according to the Jubilee, to SAN fact check.
Based on the test scores of school students in 3rd grade. So if you are literally building prisons with the onset of, okay, if these people are not reaching a certain
the SAN app for,
then we know that they're going to go down a prison industrial pipeline where we can use their free labor. Then how is that not systemic? And if you want to
stop them from entering prisons.
How are you going to stop people from entering prisons if your goal is to get them into prison?
Sure.
Wait, what?
Their free labor. Then how is that not systemic? And if you want to
stop them from entering prisons.
How are you going to stop people from entering prisons if your goal is to get them into prison?
Sure. Make them try to be more like Ben Carson than be like King Von. That's very, very simple.
So how does King Von happen? How does King Von happen?
King Von
reparations.
Hold on,
actually, no. Let me land the plane.
Yeah.
We're talking about reparations, and what you're doing is actually just trying to get this conversation off the facts. And the fact is, reparations are just and necessary because on a basic level, Black people built this country, and the country continues to thrive off of the labor that Black people put into this country. And it would behoove you, young man, to really understand the way that your ancestors put blood, sweat, and tears into this nation that is still living off of those blood, sweat, and tears. And let me also add, there are reparations and then there is remunerations. Do you know the difference?
Yes, but can I finish one point that I wanted to say? Ben Carson's cousins were killed at a very young age.
I'm so sorry. You've been voted out by the majority. Okay. Please return to your seat.
I hope some of y'all are acting. I really do. I really. We in LA, and I hope some people in here are acting. Oh, what's that on your chain?
This is coin from Israel.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
She's gotta be acting. She's gotta be acting. She's gotta be acting. What are those shoes? Oh, fuck. I mean, oh my God. It's just like, dude, can we have like one person where you guys could just like have a normal conversation with each other? Holy fucking shit. Oh my God. Oh, sorry. There's just.
Oh, what's that on your chain?
This is coin from Israel.
Lord have mercy.
What is? It's like you don't even know. He could have went there and got a coin, and this is a souvenir. It could be from his dead relative who had it in a war somewhere. You don't even know. Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta turn my mic down because this is why I can't be doing this shit. Man, this shit is so fucking stupid.
Yes, you gotta go.
That's a choice that you are making for yourself.
Yeah.
Why don't you ask him? Why are you wearing it? What does it represent to you? But you don't want people to judge you based on looks. You don't want people to make have preconceived notions. But you're literally doing that. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Turn down my volume if you need to. I'm just like, this shit is so fucking stupid.
Mercy.
Yes, you gotta go.
That's a choice that you are making for yourself.
Yes. The thing with the whole reparations thing, and I don't know, we're probably close to the same age, so maybe you can't call me.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
Guys, this is Jubilee. Don't forget, Jubilee. Check out their stuff. They're always, pitting people, with contentious or viewpoints or against each other. Check out their channel and stuff, I only say this because some of y'all like, no, you gotta let it play, you gotta let it play, you gotta play. Guys, go to that channel. Go to that channel and watch it. Watch it. You can let it play. You don't have to hear me at all, guys. I encourage you to do it. Otherwise, shut the fuck up.
I am 44.
Oh, really? Oh, you look young.
Thank you.
Here, I got you. Dude, I got you, bro. Oh, bro, I got you. Look, I'm gonna help you. Okay? Hold up. Boom. All right, cool deal. So, that'll help you find your way over to the video, and you can watch it without my voice.
Woo!
Wait, hold up. I got this. You realize if I sit here and let a video play without talking and without reacting and without having any transforming it in any way, that's actually copyright infringement. So why don't you go watch the video on their channel? Link in the description. In fact, let me check my description. Actually, I think it's there. All right, let's go, guys. Let's go. Hold up. All right, cool.
Liberal positions are real stressful.
By the way, I wouldn't know. I'm not a liberal. Carry on.
It's the liberal position because conservatives believe in hard work. We believe in going to work and working for what you got, not asking for handouts from people who never had slaves. Some of the people that you're asking for money from never had slaves. And let's talk about the fact there were also black people that had slaves. So if you want to talk about that,
there were approximately 3,700 free black people who owned 12,000 slaves. Actually, I did not know this at all. There's got to be more to that story, because I feel like I would have heard that. That's crazy. That one is wild.
How is that fair? If I'm a white person and my family fall on the side of the Union, why should I have to pay for slaves when this whole country was never all racist? Some of the founding fathers.
I mean, I know it fact checked it, but that's crazy. Like, hold up. Did black people own slaves in the U.S.? Yeah, some black Americans did own slaves. While the vast majority of slaveholders in the U.S. were white, there were instances of free black people owning slaves, often for a variety of complex reasons. That's what I thought. Because I can see them like owning slaves as a way to try to get other people, like they didn't treat them as slaves, but they were like buying them as if they were slaves to like free them. I could see something like that. It's just odd to me that like black people would own other black people in this country as slaves. That just seems like mind-boggling. Small but significant number. While the number of black slave owners was relatively small compared to white slave owners, it's a documented historical fact. Diverse motivations. Some black individuals purchased slaves to protect family members, who might otherwise have been sold to more exploitative owners. Others may have used slaves for labor to support their businesses or households, or even to gain social status within the slaveholding society. Jesus. The first reason to do it seemed reasonable. The other ones I'm kind of like,
Fathers were abolitionists, and they hated slavery, and they actually put things in the Declaration of Independence and things too, because they believed that there'll be a future where there would be a black president one day, or that there would be people in leadership that were black. There was people in the North who helped with the Underground Railroad and fought with the Union. So why is that fair for people who never had slaves, who fought against slavery, to have to pay for people that had slaves?
One, from my understanding, you are more interested in preserving the fairness of those who didn't have slaves than the fairness of those who are the descendants of slaves.
I think it's just fairness, period. That's a weird way to frame it.
That is priority to you than finding a fair way to accommodate those who have been the descendant of slaves.
Well, our ancestors wasn't asking for handouts. They were asking for equal opportunity, and we have equal opportunity in this country. We had a black president, just in case you didn't know. We had a black president, and we had a black vice president. I think she was black. They said she was black.
Yo.
So we had a black president, and you know who voted for that black man? White people.
That's a good point. I mean, you couldn't win the election without enough white people voting for you. You can't end slavery without enough white people wanting to end slavery. So you can't always put it on like, well, the white people are bad. It's like, well, yeah, but the white people had to change at some point in order to change the rules because they were the ones in power. If they were evil through and through, 60, 70, 80% of them were evil or whatever, slavery would still be going on, right?
Because you can't win a popular election in this country.
Oh, I'm so glad. I was waiting for one of y'all to say it. Heavy duty in the chat. Actually, he says actually. Obama was the first half white and half black president. And if you think Kamala has one bit of black in her DNA, okay, whatever. That last part, we'll leave that there. That first part. This used to bother me. See, I'm half black and I'm half white, guys. And I remember in 6th grade when they played his inauguration on all the TV screens, right? It was like the biggest moment. But all people ever talked about was him being black. But then when I start reading about him, I'm like, wait a second. He was raised by his white mother. Nobody talked about him being biracial. And I'm just like, wow. If like we were to talk about representation, I'm like, I really feel represented by this person because they literally are coming from like the exact same makeup as me. Not that those things matter, but it's just interesting. But to watch everybody ignore the fact that he has both and only focus on the one. That's how I've been treated my whole life. And it's just funny. It's funny to watch everybody do that on both sides. He's a black president, not biracial. Now it's the one drop rule, this, that, and the third. It's just interesting to me.
Without white people. So Barack Obama is the product of white people. So let's get off this thing where, oh, America is so racist. What's making America so racist is people that continue to talk about racism and continue to focus.
Have you guys seen that Morgan Freeman clip? I might pull that up. He basically says the same thing.
Focus on racism instead of focusing on unity and bringing our country forward. People that have this liberal mindset are infecting our communities, black people, and making us victims and not victors. I refuse to embrace a victim mentality because that's not what our grandparents and Harriet Tubman and those people fought for. They fought for equal opportunity.
Do not bring up Harriet Tubman's name in vain. Baby, please.
They said the Lord's name in vain. The Lord's name.
Harriet Tubman was literally saving her family and others from slavery.
Yeah. You know who helped her? White people.
Directly rescued more than 60 people. Harriet Tubman directly rescued more than 60 people and provided assistance to dozens of others. During her journeys to freedom, Harriet Tubman received help from free and enslaved African Americans and whites, including the Quakers.
You know who helped her?
They were on the Underground Railroad. Come on in.
No, you know who helped her?
Come on in.
No, you know who helped her?
God and
people who benefit from white supremacy. One of the things.
I'm thinking, guys, if I understand this correctly, this man's point was Harriet Tubman rescued slaves, helped them escape. The Underground Railroad, white people helped with. White people helped slaves escape. Her rebuttal is that the white people helped because they benefit from white supremacy. I might have missed her point. I'm trying to understand. I really am.
God and
people who benefit from white supremacy.
So the people that helped Harriet Tubman are people who benefit from white supremacy.
One of the things
it's a lie. White supremacy is a lie.
No, sir.
I don't understand. Like, his point is that, like, all white people can't be evil because white people were, like, helping free slaves. And her point is that those white people benefit from white supremacy. I mean, if you benefit from something and you're trying to help it disappear, like I benefit from slavery, but I'm still going to try to get rid of slavery because I think it's wrong on principle. How is that a problem? I don't understand. Like, you're trying to get rid of the thing that is wrong. Like, that slavery is wrong. Like, what does it matter whether or not you benefit from it? It says more to me if you benefit from something, but you think it's wrong to take that for yourself. I don't know. I just don't understand what she's trying to say.
Not
there's
true.
no such. I mean,
if that were not the case, then we wouldn't see the continued effort of colonialism and white people placing themselves in positions of power when they do not have the power.
Because their culture, black culture, is toxic.
She's not. Lord, she's about to lose it. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with chat too, but like I don't know. I'll be going on my little rants and shit, and you guys. Where are we at here? Somebody said something funny. Y'all are funny. You said white privilege would be kind of cool to have, not gonna lie. U.S. government cheats, lies to people. USA hates black people and uses them for everything. When blacks had their own land, whites burned and bombed it to shit. What's going on worldwide? What? Ooh, I like your name. I think he's about to get in. That's Danny. How you doing? You said, how is black culture toxic and white culture is not toxic? I have a feeling they're about to go very hard on that subject. I'm curious to see how he thinks it's toxic, and I have a feeling that she's going to twist it around and say, well, white people are toxic. You know the interesting thing, guys? I have a hot take. I don't know if I should say it. I think you can find toxicity in every demographic group. White, black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever. I'm pretty sure there's toxicity in every group. Every single group. Now, does that mean every single group is toxic? No, I don't believe that. That's retarded.
Culture is toxic. We have produced a culture that is toxic. And let's get on the fact that there's no fathers in the black home. Let's talk about that.
Stop.
Let's talk about that.
Stop.
Let's talk about that.
None of this is gonna work if y'all are just gonna sit here and make up shit.
It's
not gonna work. No, a debate has to be in facts.
You're
You
putting
are
off
literally
emotional liberalism
I am
right
not
now.
putting off emotional liberalism. You're putting off unfounded lies
That's what y'all
based
do. Y'all
in
start saying
conservatism.
misinformation. Remember they did the
It is
misinformation thing all summer where everything
Look at this
conservatives
man.
did. They said
You're carrying
misinformation.
a chain around your neck
Okay, oh my God, she's okay. Hold up.
of an apartheid nation that actively wants to harm black people and non-Jewish people. But let me bring it back. Let me bring it back.
Selling black people
Let me
in
bring
Africa
it. That was not happening in the context that you're saying.
And they were selling
We were just talking about this in chat yesterday. This is crazy. Whether or not black people were selling black people in Africa to the Europeans to be brought over as slaves. We literally had this whole conversation yesterday. This is crazy.
Selling black people
Let me
in
bring
Africa.
it. That was not happening.
You guys must have watched this the other day and then came to my chat talking about it.
The context that you're saying.
And they were selling
Let's
their own
bring it
people.
back.
Black people still sell
Okay.
their own people today too, by the way.
I don't know if I'm gonna last.
We're selling our own people today
I don't know
too.
if I'm gonna
You
last.
probably won't last with me.
I won't because your ignorance is so
See,
overwhelming.
y'all, that's liberals. Y'all start name calling when y'all getting
it's
defeated
not
in an
name
argument.
calling. You won't have an argument because you keep cutting me off.
Oh, well, that's fine if they don't let me come
You
back
won't
up. I
even-
made my
you won't
point.
I mean, to be fair, I really haven't heard the other people really be insulting or say that you're ignorant or anything along those lines. It does seem like all the conservatives they seem to be just like stating their points pretty clearly from what it seems like.
Didn't make your
I made my point.
You haven't
And
made
I'm
your
okay
point.
with being
And let me
voted
just
out.
tell you about your point. You started off saying, we believe in hard work.
Yeah.
And we believe in being compensated.
Reparations is not, though. Reparations is not hard work. It's stealing. It's Robin Hood.
You said you believe in hard work.
Yes.
And you believe in being compensated for hard work.
Yes.
Were slaves compensated for their work?
They weren't compensated for their work. But why should people who are sitting at home playing video games, smoking marijuana,
Are you sitting at
be
home playing a
giving
video
checks?
game?
I just hate it because she knows what he means. Are you sitting at home playing video games? No, I'm having a fucking conversation with you right now, obviously, or I'm trying to. Like, he knows, he's saying that the people today probably shouldn't be getting paid for the people back then. But she's trying to, like, obfuscate and be like, are you playing video games right now? It's like, you're not just getting at the heart of his point. You guys can have a conversation, but you guys keep talking past each other. It's very annoying.
Are you sitting at home playing a video game?
The people that they wanted
Am I
reparations
sitting at home
for-
playing a video game? No.
The people
and
they
I don't
want
know
reparations
I don't
for-
know who these people are that you're talking.
You're like, I don't mind bananas. But I'll tell you, I don't have many rules in my chat, okay? One, it's about, freedom of speech. You know what I'm saying? Don't break YouTube terms of service. Don't be a creep or a weirdo. And don't spam, right? Don't spam. If you spam, I'm gonna have to silence you. I don't like silencing people.
about, because the majority of the black community is not sitting at home playing video games.
The majority of the black
Where are you
community
getting
is doing a
that
lot
statistic?
of things.
Where are you
A lot
getting
of
that
things is not
statistic?
right.
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
I knew I was going to be surrounded by ignorance.
It's not about sitting home playing video games. It's like it's the point that the time period that there's been decades, if not centuries, wherever you want to put the points in between these circumstances. That's what his point is.
Let's go.
All right, what's this one?
Hello. My hand's wet from the water.
My hands are sweaty because
Okay.
I'm nervous. We both got sweaty
Got it.
hands. Okay. So I just wanted clarity because I think it'd be
Sure,
helpful.
my hands are sweaty.
You said radical. I wanted just clarity on that. And then also with the reparations, you said it's not just money, it's other things. I just want to know, like, what do you see as like the grand picture of what would help?
The grand picture of what would
Yes.
help.
Of
Okay, cool.
reparations, like what does that look like
Yes.
to you?
Oh, great. Reparations, what reparations looks like to me is a combination of reparations and remunerations. And reparations are about repair for damages that have been caused based on harm. Remunerations is a monetary response to work that has not been paid for. So if you come and paint my house and I don't pay you, you can take me to court and get remunerations for the work that you have done. So we're actually owed both in this nation as Black people. And there are incredibly just clear-cut records that show the buying and selling and purchasing of slaves, the work that was done, also the intellectual property that was stolen from slaves, right? Because there was so much inventing that was happening. And there is also quite a bit of other reparations that are being discussed as it relates to property being stolen, as it relates to, again, redlining and the inability for Black people to get loans.
I would say if you had property, you had like a deed or something. You had property, it was in your name, whatever, and the government came and took that shit from you. I do think you should get some sort of compensation for that. That is reasonable to me.
Etc. And these impediments being solely based on their race.
As far as like discrimination.
Yes.
But this wouldn't be based on race. This would be just based on if the government comes and fucks you out of your shit, they should at least pay you for that shit. Pretty simple. Sorry for the language.
They're being solely.
I'm not really sorry, but whatever.
Based on their race, it not being about anything other than you're Black, so you can't, right? And so when it's very clear cut like that, there are very distinctive responses to that can be done through a cash payment, as well as.
Oh, dirty! I'm surprised you didn't show up earlier. I'm surprised you didn't show up as soon as we started this. Oh my lord.
Through measures.
What's
that
going
are
on?
being
Good to
done
see you.
To create funds for creating resources and responses like housing, like access to food, access to education, etc., that certain communities have not had access to because of the fallout from these things.
And I just had a quick question for clarifying. With the funds, I'm wondering, where do you think those should come from? Like the actual money, like is that we're raising money? Is it taxes? Like what does that look like?
Well, I think what they've been doing with these different reparations committees is they're looking at, all right, well, how much has this city or how much has this town or how much has this country gained?
My problem is just logistics, just like trying to figure out those numbers. How much? Now, I'm not saying just because you can't find a specific number, it doesn't mean that people aren't owed something. But it's like, well, how much was the slave, like your great-great-great-grandfather, how much was his freedom worth? How much work did he put in? Like, what are you doing? Are you going to take like their life divided by the hours worked that you think they worked, like 12-hour days, and then put that to like a wage? And then like, I'm just trying to figure out how because now she's trying to quantify, well, how much was it worth, the labor worth? And I'm just trying to figure out how you would even quantify that at this point. Because there's a lot of different ways you could.
City or how much.
You could say because this city is so successful now, that was only because of what was done in the past. So we should get a portion of like what this city produces, right? Of this city's economy. Or is it I should get the labor for my ancestors, like the hours that they worked?
How much has this town or how much has this country gained from the estimated amount that was stolen?
I'm just trying to get through this, Dirty.
From these people, right? So they're looking at like, what is this wage amount? For instance, like if you look at during that time, okay, what was the wage amount that a hired worker would get for this same work? All right. And so we're looking at how was that wage not provided and what is that pool that is being created? And then we're looking at, all right, where can that wage come from in terms of how has that wage been applied? So there are spaces where this is very clear. I think the last thing that you asked about was
I feel like I didn't get an answer. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to understand, but I feel like she answered her question with the question just rephrased, because she said, where do you think that money is going to come from? Or where can that money come from? And it sounded like she said, and we need to figure out where that money can come from. And I'm like, wait, what? Did you just restate the question?
Where can that wage come? What is the same during that time? Okay, what was the wage amount? Is this wage amount?
Stop. Sorry, guys. I'm going back.
I think what they
come from. I have a question for clarifying. With the funds, I'm wondering, where do you think those should come from? Like the actual
Where should they come from?
money, like is that we're raising money? Is it taxes? Like what does that look like?
Well, I think what they've been doing with these different reparations committees is they're looking at, all right, well, how much has this city or how much has this town or how much has this country gained from the estimated amount that was stolen from these people, right? So they're looking at like, what is this wage amount? For instance, like if you look at during that time, okay, what was the wage amount that a hired worker would get for this same work?
Sure.
Right. And so we're looking at how was that wage not provided and what is that pool that is being created?
Sure. We've kind of already established that. It's basically what I said, because I was like, well, how would you even do this? But okay, but the question, let's not forget what the question was. Where does the money come from? Are we fundraising? Is it coming from taxes? Where is the money coming from?
And then we're looking at, all right, where can that wage come from in terms of how has that wage been applied? So there are spaces where this is very clear. I think I think the last thing that you asked about was the difference between liberal and...
I'm sorry, guys. Turbulence. The space station is having turbulence, okay? She didn't answer the question. She just said we're looking. So, now granted, you're not always going to have an answer to a question, but that does seem like a rather important question. You know, it's sort of like when they asked Andrew Yang about UBI, Universal Basic Income, and they asked him, how are you going to pay for it? And he kind of choked. It's like, dude, that is the first question you should be ready to answer. UBI would cost $4 trillion, I believe it was, a year to give every American $1,000 a month. It might be even more than that. Where does that money come from?
Radical.
Yeah, please.
Ultimately, the concept of liberalism is really just not Republican, right? I mean, that's essentially what it's become.
I would disagree with that, but I understand that's your stance.
There's a very generic concept of what liberalism is, in the sense that it's simply saying that I am a part of the bipartisan mind frame, but I am not a Republican. It's a mindset. It doesn't always show up in action, but it's a mindset that says, you know, I don't support extremes in certain ways, or, you know, I want the government to show up in certain ways. You know, I know there's a conservative point of view that says there should be less government, but even though it just says that, the action is very different. The radical mind state simply is living opposite to our colonizers, which is an imperialist, capitalist mind state, and radical blacks do not believe that that is any way for us to have liberation.
There's so many buzzwords. It's just like the radical capitalist, this, that, and the, what are we talking about? Like, I don't even know what the fuck she just said. Like, I understand the words, but they don't make sense. Like, she asked you, how are we going to pay for this?
Thank you for explaining that.
And thank you for being very respectful.
We were told to be respectful. We're not your enemies.
Thank you, my good sis.
Surrounded is now a podcast.
Guys, we're watching this Jubilee video, came out a couple days ago. Definitely check out their channel. They like to bring people with opposing views together to have these conversations, ask these questions and whatnot. And that's what we're checking out today. Definitely check them out if you like it. Oh, fuck, I'm not subscribed. What am I doing, guys? Whoa. Boom. Gotta show support. Hit that like button, all the good stuff.
Search Surrounded, plug in, and stay part of the conversation. Anywhere, anytime.
My next claim is that black on black crime is a result of underinvestment and over-policing.
Sorry.
So you say that black on black crime is due to underfunding.
Real quick, I guess a little housekeeping. Release the files, poll in chat. Yes, right now, 81%. What files, 19%. I told you guys, it started off when I first started doing this poll a few weeks ago, 90-10, 90-10. It's starting to go 80-20, and I have a feeling it's going to be 75-25 in the next week. People are forgetting about the Epstein stuff. People don't give a fuck. It's going to get swept under the rug, guys. We're losing the battle.
And over policing, essentially. Yes. I actually don't necessarily disagree with one of those. Okay. I think that, however, the government, who do you think should be responsible for the funding piece of the black community? Should that be something that the government should step into, or should that be something that we as black people need to handle ourselves? Dr. Jordan Peterson and even Thomas Sowell and several others have stated one thing, that poverty and crime, there's a positive correlation. There's also a positive correlation in the black community of absentee fatherism being one of the root causes leading into criminality. Black males that grew up without a father are 10 times more likely to engage in criminal activity. And so I think one of the...
Can I put a pin right there and ask you a question?
Ask me whatever you like.
I didn't realize I'm going to have to read something. Just like shoved it up. I got some pork chops over here, potatoes and mac and cheese. I don't know how much better you can get than that. Fact check. Research clearly shows there is a correlation between absent fathers and a higher likelihood to engage in criminal activity. Researchers have reached different conclusions on the exact percentage. Data from Florida Atlantic University found children, in general, with an incarcerated parent are 5 to 6 times more likely to become offenders. All right.
Leading into criminality. Black males that grew up without a father are 10 times more likely to engage in criminal activity. And so I think one of the...
Can I put a pin right there and ask you a question?
Ask me whatever you like.
What is the root cause of there being less fathers present?
Bad decision making on the part of the fathers. We live in a patriarchal system. Like it or not, men have dominated the socioeconomic, economic, and political power of this country and the world since our existence. So our bad decision-making, especially when we focus on the black community, is the root cause of fatherlessness.
What type of decisions?
Not marrying the women we decide to lay down and have children with. Not being careful with the seeds that we plant in women. No woman can get pregnant without a man planting his seed inside of her. So therefore...
So it's marriage.
Well, that's a part of it.
Marriage. Well, it's not just marriage. I mean, you don't have to be married in like the traditional sense, but connected to this person. I guess they're in the child's life, financially supportive, emotionally supportive, like there. Whether you guys have a marriage certificate or not, just being there. You know, you could call it marriage, co-partnership, like whatever. You can put whatever word you want to it, but it's just being there. From what I understand, what he's saying.
So therefore...
So it's marriage.
Well, that's a part of it. That's marriage is a part of it.
Okay.
But the true piece that I'm looking at is connectedness between familial units. The black community was at its economically strongest while being at its poorest during the segregation era.
Now, I've heard this. I've heard this from a couple different talking heads. And the argument goes that during segregation or Jim Crow or what have you, the dollar stayed, the black dollar stayed in the black community. Whereas nowadays, the black dollar basically leaves the community to go to other communities very quickly. Whereas back then, it would circulate within the community longer. So it's just interesting. We can pull up the stats on that. It's an interesting argument.
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King in his last speech said that we have an annual income of more than $30 billion a year, which is more than all of the exports of Canada and more than all of the exports of the United States and more than the national budget of Canada. That was when we were economically at our poorest. Yet 85% of our black children were growing up with a father in the home. There was less black on black crime.
The substantial progress in educational attainment of African Americans has been accompanied by significant absolute improvements in wages, incomes, wealth, and health since 1968. But black workers still make only 82.5 cents on every dollar earned by white workers. African Americans are 2.5 times as likely to be in poverty as whites, and the median white family has almost 10 times as much wealth as the median black family.
5% of our black children were growing up with a father in the home. There was less black on black crime. There was less disenfranchisement.
Why was there less black on black crime?
Because we needed to live together. We had to stick by each other. We had to stick
What
by
was
each
there
other.
also less of?
I'm not sure where you're leading. That's a leading question. I don't like those.
You don't like this?
I don't like leading questions, no. I like direct stuff.
So essentially, when we were living in our own communities, we were also policing our own communities. So we were not being used as statistics in the same way to determine how resources were provided to our own communities. When we were going to the government saying, hey, we deserve because we are supposed to be separate but equal, we weren't saying, hey, we want to be with y'all. We were essentially saying, we want what you are stating we deserve. And that is what all of the efforts of the civil rights movement has been. It's literally just been to say, say, you said when we got out of the Civil War that we would be considered citizens, and all citizens should be getting equal access to these things. However, you are actively allowing the Klan to harm us. You are actively allowing...
Who's killed more black people, the Klan or us?
I would like to continue my statement. I let you speak uninterrupted.
You did.
When we talk about this concept of who is harming us, we are really making a false claim when it comes to black on black crime, as if there isn't white on white crime. There's also this...
But it's not, but the whole thing is that you're not talking about, like, white people aren't really the ones you're talking about in the conversation. You don't care about that right now. It seems like you don't really care if white people are killing white people. Not to say she doesn't, she might, like, whatever, but it's just not the conversation that's being had. So you could say, you're like, well, black people are killing white people more, but it's like, well, what about the white people killing white people? But it's like, we're not talking about white people dying. We're talking about the black community and the black community dying and this, that, and the third. Like, why do you keep throwing it to, well, white people kill white people? Yeah, and when we want to talk about white people killing white people, we can have that conversation, but it's just kind of weird to throw it that direction when that's not what his point is at all.
Talk about this concept of who is harming us. We are really making a false claim when it comes to black on black crime, as if there isn't white on white crime. There's also this unnecessary effort to try and pathologize black on black crime in a way that you don't try to pathologize white on white crime. There are white people killing each other every single day. Now, they may be on jet skis in the pictures after they shoot up their whole family.
She reminds me of Kamala Harris. I don't know what it is, but right here, just listen. I don't know. I could be crazy, guys. I could be crazy. This just reminded me of Kamala Harris so much. I don't even know what it is. I mean,
in a way that you don't try to pathologize white on white crime. There are white people killing each other every single day. Now, they may be on jet skis in the pictures after they shoot up their whole family, but
I'm sorry. I'm just letting it pass. I gotta let the moment pass for a second. Because what?
Single day. Now, they may be on jet skis in the pictures after they shoot up their whole family, but nonetheless, there are white people killing each other every single day. Now, much of the reason why you may see more numbers in terms of black on black crime are for two reasons. One, the statistics be lying all the time. We have seen this.
Numbers? Okay, when you
we
say
have
that,
seen
no,
this in a real way.
No, please let him speak.
So in New Jersey.
When you say
So in New Jersey.
Please.
Numbers can be trusted.
Thank you.
I'm about to tell you right now.
Okay, so your sources can
You
be trusted.
can't such number. No, I'm literally about to give you an example of numbers not being able to be trusted.
Okay, talk to me.
That's what I was doing.
I'm listening.
Okay, then listen.
Oh, my ears open.
So listen, in New Jersey, they had a statistic that was created by the police department that said, look at how many black people are committing crimes. Look at how crazy this number is. These black people are so exorbitantly violent. Look at this. And then people went and actually matched the names that they were booking with the faces of the actual people incarcerated. Okay. And it was proven that they were lying.
So that's okay, so that's...
I need to take a break, guys. Holy fucking shit. We can't trust stats. We literally can't trust stats because of unbiased samples or fucking with data or something. We can't trust any stats. By that, if you just want to just throw all stats out the window, then you literally cannot use stats for your argument. So literally, there's no problem anywhere. There's no problem with any community. Nobody's being oppressed. Nobody's killing each other. Everything's fine because we have no numbers to go off of because we can't trust numbers, period. Because the numbers could be bullshit. Well, that's why you, oh my gosh. That's why you do a bunch of studies and then you aggregate those studies together. Holy shit. You have peer review and you have people look over the way that they're doing the studies. Who did you ask? How many did you ask?
That's one instance. Hold on. No, you're talking to somebody that works as a...
But it's like they go back and they're like, oh, this was some bullshit. Okay, so we could throw that stat out in the garbage. Like that was a bullshit stat. You know what they say? 70% of stats are bullshit. You see, it's just dumb. It's just so dumb. If you have an issue with a specific source, point to the issues with that source. But you can't just throw your hands up and be like, I have one instance I can point to. I'm sure there's many instances, but I have one instance I can point to where the stats were bad. let's be honest, the stats aren't the problem in that scenario. The human is the problem. It's either human error or they are purposefully choosing data to like represent what they want, like to make the stats represent what they want. They are looking for data that already confirms their bias. That's not good stats. That's not good information collection. That's completely different than stats are lying. Stats are lies. It's just so frustrating.
Booking with the faces of the actual people incarcerated.
And also the math. The math could be the problem as well. Again, you could play with numbers. There's p-hacking. I get like where you could literally you could find correlations between things that don't necessarily mean that there's like this deep connection between them. It's just the data makes it look a certain way. Like there is some sort of connection, but really it just is almost incidental.
It was proven that they were lying.
So that's one. So that's one instance.
That's
Hold on,
one
no, you're
example.
talking to somebody that works as a police dispatcher when I'm not making content. So here's the thing.
I
So
see.
no. You see what? The truth is, you're about to see the truth if you just give me a second. Like Trump said, just give me a second. I'm going to do the weave, but give me a minute.
Well, here's
So
what
when
you all keep doing. You keep interrupting me when I'm talking, and you don't want to hear the point that I'm going to make.
The point that
and
you're
yet you want
raising-
me to respect your point. And that's not how a debate works. So if you want me to keep getting louder, I will do it. But ultimately, if I show you respect, give me the...
Is this the whole thing? Have you guys watched this? Does anybody in chat watch this whole thing? Is this the whole thing? I'm sorry, because if this is like the whole thing, I can see why. I caught a couple clips, and maybe we've already seen the best clips, because if like they really get nowhere and she's just gonna shout and it just never gets anywhere. I mean, I don't know, it's just Jesus Christ. She just yells louder and louder and louder.
Respect back. I let you talk. I let you make your points. I am countering your points. And my points are just as valid as yours, even though you got a pocket square and a Church of Christ pin on your chest.
It's not a Church of Christ. It's
Whatever.
A cross.
It's a cross. Same difference. You got an American flag and you think you know something because you a cop. And ultimately,
Not a cop, dispatcher. There's a
ultimately
difference.
it's ACAB all day over here. So let me make that clear. But let me...
That's the problem. That's the problem right there. All cops are bastards. Yeah. That's gonna help. That's gonna help anything. Guarantees you, if somebody breaks into her fucking house, I bet she better not call the cops. She better not call the cops. I hope she doesn't. All cops are bastards. Just like, no, instead of demonizing all cops, we should say those cops are bastards. Those cops are pieces of shit. They are abusing their power. Get rid of them. But we should want good people to be cops, because we're always going to need a police force. You're not going to get rid of the police force. Otherwise, if we get rid of police force, everybody better go buy a gun, because it's about to be open season, okay? If there is no police force, okay, let's see how that works. Like, fuck me. Like, oh, this is so stupid. Oh, this is so dumb. He literally works as a dispatcher. Are you like a cop as a dispatcher, or are you literally just a dispatcher? Like, on the phone? Do you have to be like a full cop? It's like, damn, I just answer the phone and she's like, fuck you, you're a cop. And it's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Wouldn't you want a good person? Let's assume this guy's a good man. I don't know if he's a good guy. He could be the most terrible person in the world. I'm going to go ahead and assume this guy's a good guy. He seems like a decent enough guy, right? Wouldn't you want a decent person to be working for the police?
To keep getting louder, I let you make your points. I am countering your points. And my points are just as valid as yours, even though you got a pocket square and a Church of Christ pin on your chest.
It's not a Church of Christ. It's
Whatever.
A cross.
It's a cross. Same difference. You got an American flag and you think you know something because you a cop. And ultimately...
Not a cop, dispatcher. There's a difference.
Okay, he said not a cop. There's a dispatch. I'm a dispatcher. There's a difference.
Cab all day over here, so let me make that clear. But let me also add to my point...
I'm glad that I could hear people moaning and groaning in the background, like,
My point is that you can sit here and blame black people on black people all day long and not acknowledge that we are forced into... You're coming to interrupt me again.
How long has she been talking, guys? I kind of want to, like, just figure in time how much she talks compared to how much the other people talk. I could be crazy, but it feels as though she's monopolizing the time. I could be wrong.
Not acknowledge that we are forced into... You're coming to interrupt me again.
I haven't even said a word.
All right, that is flagged, so I'm gonna ask you to return to your seat.
It's a waste of my time. Y'all just want
I just like her jacket. I mean, honestly, the jacket is kind of fire. I want to see like the full thing, but I mean, it pops. Like that jacket pops. Like the colors, the way they like. I don't know. I'm not much of an artist, but the composition, I don't fucking know. It looks nice. It's a nice jacket. I'll give her that. I was really hoping she had some like points that would really make me think, and I would sit here and like have to battle myself to try to like just figure out like, like, okay, maybe she is right about that, but I don't know about this thing. But so far, I just haven't really had anything I can sink my teeth into that I feel like, oh my gosh, that's a good point. I haven't thought about that way.
I don't need to be seen. Hello.
How are you? I'm Jasmine, the pretty good. Say less outfit.
He didn't fucking say anything.
This is my thing. I think the premise of your question was black on black crime. So I think I'm coming from a place, and I guess my issue.
Now, something I noticed, guys, again, this is my first watch through. She gets loud with the guys. The one woman she didn't get loud with. I'm curious to see if she gets loud with this one and if there's a pattern. If she just likes yelling over the men.
Is having had my biological father murdered by a black man, having had my cousin shot.
Oh shit! Hold on. Jeez.
Black on black crime. So I think I'm coming from a place, and I guess my issue is having had my biological father murdered by a black man, having had my cousin shot in the head by a black man. We can talk numbers and statistics and what the people are doing, and what the white man is doing, and all that. But at the end of the day, I see when my family.
Frank Czar, I got you, bro. I got you. Listen. Boom. This is called Jubilee. This is the name of the channel, okay? Oh, wait, did I show it? Hold up. Boom. Jubilee. You can go and check out their channel, and you can watch the video uninterrupted. Otherwise, you're going to hear my voice.
Family lives on the south side of Chicago, and I think you and I both.
Now, if you need help, I could just give you like a 24-hour timeout, and if that helps you get over to that video. I mean, whatever floats your boat. I'd like you here to hang out. I would. But if you want to watch the video, go watch the fucking video.
Attest to this, and I'm not saying that there are not other factors.
We
kill each other.
What's going on, man? I'm sorry. Am I ignoring you or something? This thing's got me going. I'm really like into this. I'm sorry. Y'all are crazy.
But at the end of the day, I see when my family lives on the south side of Chicago, and I think you and I both can attest to this, and I'm not saying that there are not other factors, but we know that we kill.
I don't know. I'm thinking about modding slow-mo or low and slow. Fuck. Slow and low, okay? I might mod slow and low. There's a couple other people I've been seeing hanging out here the last couple of days that I might mod.
Each other at a disproportionate rate than any other race. Now, why we do that and why
I have to be careful though. Anybody on Dirty Money side in chat, it might just be another Dirty Money alt account. So I have to sort of vet them.
9,000.
I can't have one person with 20 alt account, like moderator accounts on my channel.
Be homicided or killed or whatever by the end of the year annually by other black men, whereas the likelihood of a black man being killed by a white police officer is less than 150 per year.
Mighty Squishy, they are good at what they do. Jubilee is good at what they do, and so is Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan is so good. Like him, his team, whatever, are so good at bringing those people together that are just gonna clash.
Whereas the likelihood of a black man being killed by a white police officer is less than 150 per.
All right, the fact check. Police have killed, on average, 238 black men per year since 2017. About 58% more per year. Oh, since 2017, about 58% more per year. Okay.
Kill each other at a disproportionate rate than any other race. Now, why we do that and why 6,000 to 9,000 black men are going to be homicided or killed or whatever by the end of the year annually by other black men, whereas the likelihood of a black man being killed by a white police officer is less than 150 per year. We know that we kill each other at a higher rate. So I'm not debating that there are not factors at play, but because I've lived the experience as a black woman losing my father to be murdered by a black man walking down the street.
I'm sorry to hear that, by the way.
No worries, thank you. But walking down the street in inner cities and different things, knowing that it's more likely that my own brother will rob and rape me than a white man or a white officer, we got to be real.
What's your proximity to white men in the south side of Chicago? Are there even white men around to rob and rape you at the same?
Now, this is actually a decent point. Crime is going to happen, or you're going to commit crimes, or crime is going to be committed to you based on location, based on Like if I live in a community of these people and I'm around these people 99% of the time, chances are if a crime is committed against me, it's going to be from one of the people I'm around 99% of the time, right? So if you're in a white community, all you see is white people and a crime is committed against you, chances are it's going to be from a white person. If you are in a black community where it's like 99.9999% black people and a crime is committed against you, it's probably going to be from a black person. Where you're from actually matters. Like it does.
Same rate that there are black men?
There are white men.
If you moderate slow and low, you've got to balance the force in moderate long bong. Yeah, long bong, I'm trying to figure out where long bong lays. We got a bunch of lefties. We obviously have our right wingers. I'm trying to find more middle of the ground people to mod. I mean, long bong might be a good mod. I don't know.
Men around
at the same rate.
There wasn't a lot of black people in there, but then that doesn't justify the fact that we're destroying each other. So even if we get to the root, like
we can agree on that.
Okay, because I feel like a lot of
nothing
times liberals
justifies.
will argue like, well,
I'm not a liberal. I'm not a liberal.
Okay, well, I will say that people that sometimes have your stance that are against conservatives, maybe they have this claim that they're making it up. They're making up the numbers. We know that we do that to each other. So I want to get to the root of the issue. Why are we killing each other? I think the root of the issue is we've lost our values and we've lost our resilience as black people. We sit there and we talk about what the white man did. We talk about slavery and everything like that, but we have no self-accountability and say, you know what, at the end of the day, that is my black grandmother, that is my black sister, you are my black sister, and you know that a black man is more likely to rob you or commit.
Holy shit. All right, I swear to God, I hope I don't regret this. Slow and low, I hope I don't regret this. I'm gonna make you a mod. All right. Don't go banning people. Look, the rule for mods is you can't just silence people because they disagree with you, okay? This is all about freedom of speech here. I like having all points, all sides heard, okay? That's one of the biggest rules for mods, because mods get all power hungry and start banning people and shit that disagree with them, all right? We can't have that. And so you who said losing interest, please close the video. Appreciate you.
Some type of crime against you, and that's what we need to get down to the issue of. And like you were talking about earlier, like, hey, well, what's going on? You know, what do you think the answer?
Burness-headed fuck. Yo, you and fucking Daniel Garrett. I think you guys are on opposite. You guys might be the same person. You guys are on opposite political sides. But he says I have an albatross nest in my head. Y'all are crazy for that. That's wild.
You are my black sister, and you know that a black man is more likely to rob you or commit some type of crime against you, and that's what we need to get down to the issue of. And like you were talking about earlier, like, hey, well, what's going on? You know, what do you think the answer is to one of the brothers that were speaking? I think it's the breakdown of the family. I think, like he said, because of our poor choices, and what happens is we look at domestic violence, for example. When domestic violence, women or men are even attacked, what is the first thing we say? It's like, you know what? It's not your what? It's not your fault. So that's what we do. We hold on to this narrative that.
Where's Long Bong? Yo, Long Bong, say something so you pop up in chat and I'll mod you.
Well, it's not our fault, and the issues in our community, they're not our fault. And when the white man needs to give us something, the old white lady down the street is looking at me, and I don't know why she got braids in her hair, and we focus on all these other stupid things that don't matter. We don't get to the root of the fact that we're killing each other at a higher rate than any other race. It is self-hatred amongst us. I believe that we can do that. That my mom's cousin, coming from the church parking lot, and guess who stuck her up and robbed her at gunpoint? A black man.
I need you to get to the point,
like,
so I can respond.
My point is that and I'm not trying to be funny, unless like you said, we're gonna keep it respectful.
Yeah, but you're monopolizing the whole conversation.
I'm not
Stop! What? Okay, I'm sorry. I literally just said she was doing that like 5 minutes ago. But the difference is she's not gonna yell over the lady. I don't know if it's because she's a lady and she just yells over the guys, but that's really funny. Get to the point. It's like, really?
To get to the point,
like,
so
my
I can
point
respond.
is that and I'm not trying to be funny, unless like you said, we're gonna keep it respectful.
Yeah, but you're monopolizing the whole conversation.
I'm
We're
not
trying.
I'm gonna let you speak, but let's not get the
Yes.
attitudes and stuff, because you're my sister and I respect you. So
I don't have an attitude. I'm being direct to you, but you're literally speaking this, and you're not going to do that with me either.
Okay,
so you're
I'm
stating your
respecting
point,
you.
and you've been stating your point for quite some time.
So
Do
say
you have
the
a
proper
reason
ways.
for
Would
me
you
to respond?
would you allow me to respond? So that's a better response. Go ahead.
The response that I have for you is
Okay.
that everything you're saying does not exist in a vacuum. I actually agree with you in that, yes, there has been an incredible denigration of Black worth and Black pride in this nation. I think it's also very important to acknowledge what has contributed to that. And to state that it is only Black people that have contributed to that is a false flag. So we have to admit that. So in order to have this conversation around how we got here, you can't say, oh, well, we're caring about the white woman getting braids and that doesn't matter and this thing. All of that attaches.
Yeah, that's some of my fear about modding too many people is like when it's popping in here and we got like a shit ton of people, it's totally cool. But once it becomes a wall of mods, I feel like it's a little bit intimidating for new people. It's really hard to balance because, bro, I'll have like 600-700 people in here and no mods. And then it goes down to, what do we got? 155 and I've got like 10 mods in here. Like, what the fuck?
All of that is actually a very big part of the lack of worth of Black people.
Going on, Nola G?
We're resilient. What does resilience mean to you? Do you think we have to be perpetual victims, or do you think that Black people are resilient?
I think that those are two different conversations. I think that the concept of Black people being victims is really trying to not provide accountability to where the root problem for the actual cause is. And if we keep saying that somebody is a victim and that doesn't mean that the other person should have to actually have accountability, then what are we really doing? You can do both. You can be a victim and be resilient.
How do we do both if you stay in the victimhood? That's my question.
But your statement about Black people staying in the victim place is also your point of view.
But how do we rise above it?
We continue to rise above it by, one, pouring into our communities with mutual aid, but two...
Oh, what the fuck is going on in chat? Yo, what are y'all talking about here? Yo, Luca, if you got... Hey, Crystal, appreciate you. Stop it, stop it. I don't spit. But I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
By simultaneously making sure that we are challenging the systems that are in place to impede us. We have so many opportunities where we are trying to do mutual aid and those things get disrupted by folks who want to have capitalist gain, by folks who want privatization. We used to have all these mom and pop businesses in our communities.
There's over 3 million Black millionaires in America right now. You are an intelligent Black woman that is successful.
That's irrelevant.
No one's stopping me from doing anything. I'm an intelligent Black woman that graduated and is successful.
Many efforts have tried to stop me from doing what I do. We are not all equal in our capabilities. And we are not all equal in our ability to be invested in by others.
I agree with
we
you.
are not all
That's my
equal
question
in
of
our
resilient.
trauma.
Are we resilient?
We can't say because it is a false equivalency.
I believe that every Black person has resilience.
We
from
keep
slavery
trying,
all the way up to
but we
today.
keep trying to cause.
I'm so sorry. You've been voted out.
Yeah, there's a couple people I chit chat with offline that are hanging out in stream, and they constantly tell me that they don't get the notification and they have the bell on. And they're like, why didn't I get a notification? Why didn't you tell me we're live? I'm like, I can't tell every single person. Join the Discord. I'll post it in the Discord when I go live, but I need to start doing that. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I haven't been doing that. But YouTube really sucks for that notification shit.
False equivalency.
I believe that every Black person has resilience.
We
from
keep
slavery
trying,
all the way up to
but we
today.
keep trying to cause.
I'm so sorry. You've been voted out.
First, I want to kind of get rid of this like right-left ordeal. I really want to talk about just like
appreciate you, Andre. Look, if you're calling my mod a pedo, we're gonna need receipts or something. I can't have PDFs as moderators, okay? So if there's any evidence of that, we're gonna need those receipts ASAP because we're not having any moderators that are into young people, to put it lightly.
Experience what we've seen, and when it comes to your claim about Black on Black crime, I really do believe, and I think a lot of people here do believe, especially based off of personal experiences and everything, that it is just lack of accountability. In the Black community, we need to start taking responsibility for our actions and stop pointing our fingers at other people and the white man. Because to be honest,
why can't both happen at the same time? Both are causes.
Because you got.
Paul said he saw. Okay, Paul said he saw proof in Discord. Listen, guys, how many of you guys are even really still here for this? This was a great video, guys, coming from Jubilee. I think this might be the end of it, guys, because we are 33 minutes in. Maybe we could circle back to it, but if it's another hour of the same shit, I'm kind of losing interest myself. But Jubilee, definitely check them out if you want to finish that one. Check out their other debates and whatnot. I might let it play. I don't know, but it just kind of feels like the same circular shit. And now we've got, a whole entire court case we're going to have happen in chat right now, because apparently there's evidence on Discord, and I don't know, Dirty. This is getting kind of scary. Andre Gary. Wait, hold up. Guys, I'm going to get more sounds in this soundboard, okay? You watch. It's going to be very, very cool. What else do I got? Okay, let me stop. Yo, appreciate you, Andre. What else do I got? Actually, this is what I want. Guys, if you have proof that Dirty Money is into some nasty, bad shit, illegal shit. Bring it forward here. I'm waiting. While we're fucking around. Discord, boom. Link should be in the chat. It's in the chat. Luca, what are you talking about, bro? Who's projecting again? Not the counter. Yo. Hold up. What else do I have? Okay, yeah. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to expand it a little further. The truth session. Just the other day in Polk County, these white gangs got into this brawl, and they all got slaps on the wrist. The deputy said every weekend they get rowdy, even pooping in people's yards, trespassing. Yikes. Sounds like they need a little bit more of a punishment. Dude, if I saw people, if people shit in my yard, that would be a problem. That would actually be a problem. I'm trying to think of how I would... I guess I can't say online how I would solve that problem. Probably not good, but let's just say I don't think they'll do it again. If I was there when it was happening. There's a few ways you could handle that. I'm not talking about getting rid of anybody, necessarily. Just making them think twice the next time they come by. That's all I'm saying. No violence here, guys. Unless you consider airsoft guns and paintball guns and things of that nature violence. No lethal violence, okay? I'm just kidding, guys. I don't support any of this. We're all about pacifism here, okay? We're all about following the terms of service here, okay? Just to keep it clear. Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, that would piss me off, man. It's like, that would piss me off. Yeah, basically a Law and Order button, kind of, sort of. Like, sometimes, you know... let me stop. Let me stop. Don't buy into the BS. Oh, you should have copy that shit. You could copy stuff in Discord and post it. Sound from that. Yeah, I'm not really thinking. Let me check my Discord. Y'all are stupid. Not in my Discord. It wasn't in the black hole, guys. Join the black hole. Get sucked in. Dong dong. Got a feeling like break time. I'm cooking under this light. What time is it? It's about 6:21 p.m. on the East Coast. You guys are watching, you know, Black Hole Radio. We're about to start spinning some records, I think. All right. Hold up, I got it. I got something for you. Bear with me. You guys like that? I'm sleeping in the black hole. Yes, I know, it's quite clever. Slow and low. Stop. Stop. But yeah, we're sleeping in the black hole. This is me in chill mode. All right. I swear, one day I will invest in a fucking fan. God, I think it's so hot. I'm taking my shirt off because it's too hot in here. All right, so you guys get to deal with the anime guy, okay? The animated version of me for a second, and also me sleeping in the black hole because it is too freaking hot in here. Jesus. But hey, guys, hit the sub, hit the like, all the goodness. We're here daily. Unless I'm not, but otherwise I am. If that makes sense. Oh, Lord. You know, real quick, for shits and giggles, while we're here. Wait, Aaron? Who's Aaron? Who else we got here? Law and Order button, love it. Justin, I feel that. Lonzo. Luca, this chat. It's in the chat. You know what's so funny is I could actually pull up all the messages in this chat for each user. So you know what? I'm going to entertain channel activity. Okay. Guys, we are investigating dirty money. Dirty, you actually haven't been that busy in this chat, it seems. Hold up. Oh shit, yeah, you have. What the fuck am I talking about? I'm not seeing any PDF stuff. Not seeing any PDF stuff here. Can I? Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can pull this up for you guys. I'm all about transparency. All right, so we're gonna be transparent. All right, here we go. So this is the chat. This is all the Dirty Money's chats. Hold up, guys. Bear with me here. Okay. Let us investigate. Blah, blah, blah. All the slaves. Deleted my original name. Reparations. Original. I go to Cabo. I go to the Gulf of America. Watch whales from the pool. Fish, my brother. Lots of fishing. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything that would be indicative of bad behaviors. Uh-oh, wait, hold up, wait. This might be, is this what it is? Is this what the message? Let's see. So dirty start. Okay. We're getting to the bottom of this. All right, guys. I've done an internal investigation. I found no wrongdoing. Yeah, that's kind of how that works. Oh, now you're saying on Discord. What the hell? Okay. Well, how would you even do it on Discord? I don't even use Discord except to screw with Kami. Yeah, exactly. Like, I know it's not on my Discord. If I see that shit in my Discord, you guys are going to get nuked from space. I know, it's dropping off. It's dropping off. I hate doing that whole start a new live thing, because it's like, we could get this shit popping. Oh, my dumbass. You know, get like I like when I hit like 1,000 viewers, because chat is just so unhinged. I love that shit. The good man was exonerated. Yo, it breaks my heart that Kami's not here. He's been having some issues with his connection and shit. He said he was trying to log in yesterday, but was having issues. I might have to take a break, guys. I don't want to leave, but believe it or not, I might have a female coming over. I know. Yes. But something tells me I should probably shower. You know, just do the things, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what? Honestly, I could just say nah. I could just tell them nah. I gotta hang with chat. I'm trying to think of what's gonna be more fun. Hanging with y'all. Honestly, don't tell her I said anything, but like, I like hanging with you guys. Dirty. I might still be. This could all be a front, you know? I'm just using her so I could stay in the closet longer. I don't know if I've gotten the confidence to come out to you guys, but we're not gonna tell her any of that. All right? She might be watching, actually. The weird thing is telling people about this and then sitting here for hours and then being able to log in any time of day and see me bullshitting on here. Oh, man. Never tell your employer about this, because then they're going to just see you bullshitting here, and when you're like, yeah, I can't make it in. Yeah, nah, I can't cover your shift, I'm busy. And then they log in, and they're like, motherfucker. And it's like, yeah, I'm busy, all right? This is what I'm doing. Love you, said. Get so loving. And hopefully some, well, let me stop. Some food. It's so funny you say white girl, because somebody in chat the other day heard someone over here, and they're like, she sounds white. I'm like, what does that mean? I mean, I guess I get what that means, but I'm like, really? She sounds white? I don't know, guys. Let me check. I need to see who's coming today. Let me see real quick. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. Stop, please. Please. I'm surprised I could get one person to like me. Oh, shit. I think they're at the door. Guys, this has been real. This has been fun. I should probably hop off because it sounds like somebody's at my door. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. I'm coming back tonight because I'm not done with this shit. I love hanging out with you guys. Join the fucking Discord. Hit the like button. We hit 3,500 motherfucking subscribers today. All right, by the end of the week, I want 4,000. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get super unhinged and all the good stuff. Anyway, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.